What's up, everybody? This is the poker coaching study session. Today, we're going to be looking at
how we play against a maniac online. Now, the maniac is this guy here, villain 3. These stats are probably accurate. We have more than 37 hands on him here. This is just what this is just what Poker Tracker 4 has telling us. But his VPIP is 78 or higher, and his PFR is 47, as you can see. The other interesting things at this table is this guy here is playing very loose and kind of passive. He's in a lot of hands he doesn't belong in. Villain 1 also doing this. This guy here has been playing quite well. He could be playing the best at the table. Not doing anything fancy. He doesn't need to, but we haven't seen him do anything egregious, and we've seen all his hands. And this guy has not been noticeable. As you can see, he's playing kind of tight. We're at 23-21. We are in the God seat against villain 3, and it has not done us any good yet. All right, here we go. So this hand we saw last week. This was the last hand of last week, and I'm just going to play it back just for context here. Let me get back to put these guys back where they belong. There we go. Okay. So we've seen this hand already very quickly. It's just a simple, they both call. We raise ace 10 is the nuts against villain 3's range, and villain 2, we can raise him, so we do. And he folds like a normal person. There's the call. We flop the joint. He checks. We make a small bet, kind of extra small here because he has nothing, and we've seen him call, and he calls with nothing. Then he checks, and we check behind to induce. We get what we want. And the weird thing is not raising it. In this case, it doesn't cost me anything, but I think this is a mistake. I think that this should have been a raise. And the discussion we had last week about this, to shorten it down, was when he has an ace here, which he often doesn't, but when he has an ace that he's betting, we lose to more aces than we beat right now. We lose to ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 2, ace 7, ace 6, and that's more than ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, ace 8, and ace 9. There's just more of them. The part that I should have also realized was he rarely has ace king or ace queen here. He's 3-betting those at some frequency, so he doesn't have those as much, so I can get it. But then again, he does have 7s and 6s. He has pocket 7s and pocket 6s and pocket deuces. And so when you add all those together, against his value hands, our raise doesn't do much. And against his thin value hands, a normal person isn't going to call our raise. But this guy, we've seen him call a lot. So this probably should have been a raise. But that was my thought process in the time, was just sort of counting on my fingers going, well, when he has it, I'm not beating him enough of the time. I think that's a mistake. Moving on, Mike, you get the next hand.
Okay. So what should happen is it should fold to the button. He should raise and take it. That's what should happen.
I think it's going to happen with this group. Yeah. And one of the other things we know about him is, see this 3.5 size? He's got two common sizes, 3.5 and 2. He also does some 3s. And his 3.5 is much better value than his 2s. His 2s is filled with nonsense. And although we see that clearly from the hands face up, even hands face down in the real time, we started to suspect this because we saw a couple of them. We've gotten it confirmed pretty strong, but we already suspect that, so we'll see if we're going to act on it. Larry, you're up next.
All right. King should raise and take. I think villain 3 will probably play his jack 6. Let's see if he sucks out.
Yep. And the queen jack is too good to play. Oh, this changes everything.
So this guy is played as many hands as you have, if these numbers are right.
Mm-hmm.
If our HUD numbers are right. And he is now inducing.
Yes.
Question is, what do you do if you get what you want? So queen jack is in a very precarious position here. One thing to notice is that this UTG limp trap is where you have to be most wary.
Mhm.
is UTG for the trap. Queen jack. In this situation, I think it's a ISO or a fold. It has really bad reverse implied odds post. I would frankly probably ISO it. And pay the price for it. So I would ISO it. Jack, I would not continue overlimp Jack 6. This guy is, and maybe he might ISO. No one else has a really playable hand. Queen 6 or 7 don't really get involved.
Right, so the queen jack here is not, it is not an ISO under Joey's rules. Because we need to take our position, go back 2, and it be an open or even a top half of the open. And while queen jack opens pure in the hijack, it doesn't even open in low jack -1. So
Yeah.
that makes it a fold. If this guy's an egregious limper, then that pushes us towards maybe doing just our straight up range, in which case you can ISO it. But knowing that this guy doesn't fold to ISOs and that this hand needs it, this is the bottom, this is a bluff ISO. Maybe we skip it. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I would get myself in trouble with the sand. I
Yeah.
aggressively ISO, but folding
Yeah.
is probably the right choice.
I wouldn't mind ISOing this guy with it here, this guy with it here. I think that this is ignoring the king. I think this one might be one to fold, and I think he's going to based on how he plays. He does. There we go. No chance he's folding, and he often raises this. We'll just see which one he does. He calls.
No one else gets to be involved. 5-3 gets to see if we flop.
Yep.
Realize it's 50% equity.
Mhm.
He doesn't really have any reason to dunk here, but 5. Especially against, again, something we have to be wary of is that low jack here is going to have a high freak. The trap, if anybody is, which I, by the way, saw last night in the live game. We got paid off for that reason.
Right.
So did villain 5 check?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's in an interesting spot here. If I was playing this game, especially with the king of spades, I would check raise to this meeting.
Yeah.
I played
We've seen
39
this guy take-
hands. I would check raise high freak.
Yep. And this guy has taken lots of stabs. We can expect him to do it. He's played aggressively post flop. That's how he's made his incredible, 80% VPIP actually profitable.
So generally we want to, okay, yeah, I would have check raised.
But maybe he'll get extra lucky. Nope.
5-3 multi-way, even though you've got backdoor action, you got a gutter. I don't, with 30 outs, probably it's gonna call, but it's I think you have to be super wary where he is. I think maybe
I think he should call.
you think he should.
I think he should.
Maybe with the gutter you get the call.
I mean, look at what his equity would be against aces.
Yeah, so implied odds are important here, and
Yeah.
your SPR is ridiculous. It's whatever, infinite. So it does make
And
sense
when-
to call from the implied odds perspective.
Right. And when the 4 comes, and if the 4 comes in, right?
Uh-huh.
You know, the only thing that beats him is 7-8. Well, yeah, this is bottom. He's 7-8, which could be out there, and 4-7, which probably, and 3-7, which probably isn't. So it's pretty clean as long as it's not a spade, and it's a spade. He can't, Yep. So he folds it. Okay.
All right, kings are hating life. However, arguably, well, he's got a looping range. Probably. Let me see. So you've got you. That's what size did he use? You bet
You bet 2.5.
into 3, like 3.5 or something. So, I think I would maybe use. I think I would down bet like I would probably bet the same size, which is not GTO. Where I think I would probably that's what I would do.
Right.
R check.
Yep.
Joey, obviously it's a bad card. Gonna have lots of ace X continues. Generally, I'm not gonna polarize here and turn my king to go bluff. That's dumb. I'm
Yeah.
either gonna bet same size as I did on flop or check.
And against this guy, I think I'm gonna check. I'm gonna go into check call mode because I expect him to try to take it away. But he's pseudo polarized.
So this is this is very mergy, right? This is
Yeah.
this is a very bad play. He's clearly gonna get called.
Mm.
And he's not gonna know what the hell to do on flop on river.
Yeah.
I don't
I
think
think
we're
it's
gonna
not his
see
best
any
choice.
kind of mergy bluff from three.
Yeah. I think it's a good play against this guy's particular hand, but yeah, I think it's not the best play.
So he should be nervous. Well, I don't know if he should be nervous, but he should. I would check call. I would check call. So Hungry Horse likes to check call in the situation a lot and bluff cash wide. Clearly,
Spades bricked off and you can't feel that this guy doesn't have
yeah, spades
three.
picked off and let me see.
Huh.
One to a straight. I would check call. Let
Yep.
him bluff.
Check.
Check. No, he's not. Well, he's got showdown, so I would say.
There you go. All right. Melanie.
Yep. 9-2 fold, queen 4 fold, 4-9 fold. King 9. Good raise.
Raise pure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Button, king 9 is a pure raise on the button. King 8 and king 7 mix.
Queen Jack could be a call, and then depending on the raise size, if it's like just 2 big blinds, I don't know. Maybe the big blind could call too, otherwise fold.
Gotcha. Okay. So one thing about small blind strategy, which is it's perfectly fine to have in a cash game, a small blind strategy of raise or fold, to have no calling range in the small blind.
Mhm.
Because of the rake. So if you want to do that simplification, you can. Right now, all of us have said we're doing that, and then sometimes we violate it when the hand is, when it goes like raise, call, and we've got pocket sixes and the big blind isn't a squeezer. A lot of them just go, yeah, we have no calling range, but we're calling anyway.
Okay.
So with that in mind, the queen jack is not enough to 3-bet. And so you just fold it.
It's a fold, yeah.
Yeah. And that calling range that you have has almost nothing in the offsuit side. Now, I don't actually know the calling range because I only play the raise or fold range. So let's just look at it real quick. So against the button range, here's a GTO one for the small blind. Almost nothing
Mm.
there and nothing in the offsuit branch. So that's the thing. That's the thing to learn from this is just the offsuit. Even in a strategy where you have calls, the offsuit branch doesn't have them. So, and the queen jack mixes. So there you go. All right, let's see what happens. I don't think this queen 4 is folding, by the way. I think he's raising to 2. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So now with this raise to 2, what do you want to do with your king 9?
Fold.
I agree.
Queen Jack should fold.
Yep. But we expect him to call because of this VPIP of 45. And maybe also because of how he thinks he needs to play against this guy, because he knows this is full of shit. But still, raise or fold is a better thing against a guy playing full of shit. But yep, so he calls.
He could maybe call if he knows that William Trees lose.
Just fold it. The thing to remember here is in the big blind, as more people call, you get tighter and tighter. And the 10-5 was crap before. I know it's only one big blind, but
Okay, yeah.
it's just the problem is not the one big blind that you lose or gain. The problem is when you hit a 5 or a 10 and you lose more money because you're so dominated. It's just save yourself headaches and fold there. And if it had been the button who called, then totally fold there because you're out of position against 2 players. Being in the sandwich is bad. Being out of position to 2 is worse. So give this guy 10-8 offsuit and maybe think about calling against the small blind and folding to the button is my opinion. And the solver's opinion is this was a hijack raise. Let's just look real quick at this three-way stuff. Hijack raises. Now this is, let's see if we, oh, let's make it, we have a 2 open. Let's go to 6 max. Pre-flop only. NL 100. Hijack raise to 2. This is nice. Oh, we have calls here. Great. So now we can see it for this size. Okay, so when the small blind calls,
Ten
see
eight, yeah,
this?
just like
Just-
you said.
Yeah, just don't be there. And with against the small blind, maybe we call the 10-8, you know, like this, but not the 10-7. So there, that gives you an idea. We're only talking about, we're only looking at the offsuit branch now. That's all we need to learn right now. And then if it was the button who did it instead, we lose even the 10-9s.
Yeah.
All right. So that pattern seems totally learnable. And then this nonsense down here about, you know, we're never dominated and, you know, our 2 pairs are clean. I mean, we're dominated, but our 2 pairs are all clean and stuff. But you could ignore all this safely. All right. So he gets it and we go on.
I think villain 5 should bet.
Okay.
Something like, well, because first he hit the jack and then he has a few outs for a straight.
Mm-hmm.
He could also have some outs for the queen. I mean, he doesn't know that the villain takes the queen away, villain 3, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So those are reasons to bet. And here are my reasons to check. And you can do, you know, you can do what you choose. Which is if you look at this in the simplified Jonathan Little strategy, what is second pair? Second pair is marginally made. What do we do with marginally made hands? We check call.
We check, yeah.
Yeah. And when you have a draw, you know, here, if you have a draw and a pair, the solver likes to bet that a lot, and Jonathan Little likes to check call that a lot in a simplified version. I mean, things have gotten more sophisticated, but since then, but that would be, that's just my argument. Let's see what he does. He goes for the check also because against this player, he knows this guy aggressively bets. So that makes,
It's going to bet, yeah.
that makes this even better. Right?
Okay, now villain 5 can call.
Yep.
He raises.
Right. Which I think is the worst thing of all. The small range seems like the worst, his worst choice, but he does it.
Villain 3 is probably calling.
Yep. His play should be obvious. He should fold here.
He should fold.
Right. But he doesn't like to fold. And we want to remember that when we play against him, because we've seen this. That, you know, to these small raises, he calls super wide.
So that's good for us. We could go for half pot.
Right. And what he does is he checks.
Hmm.
Which I don't hate at all, because when this guy calls, he calls with, you know, not him, but people call with straight draws. They call with flush draws. They call with kings they don't want to 3-bet. They call with some jacks that we beat some of, and, you know, we beat one, we lose to one of them and we beat all the others, and they call with 6s. So against his calling range, that's not a bad check. And then, but not check fold, just check call.
Yeah, but then we do know that villain 3's range doesn't get condensed because he would just call anything.
This particular villain, it's nothing, but also maybe he bets it, you know. So
But yeah, if I would bet here and somebody calls, I would be concerned.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And now on the river,
Bet pot.
he bets super small, trying to get called by ace high clubs, something like that. Right. Okay. Bub, You're up.
All right. So king deuce should fold, but this guy is not folding. He's min raising, I guess. And then 10-3 should fold. 5-6 should fold. Pocket five should call, in my opinion, and then the blinds should also fold.
But this time he folded the king deuce. So now,
Okay. So we are, I guess everyone is folding except pocket fives. He should raise, and I don't expect people do limps.
he loves the limp. And he loves the limp not even just, he's not just using it exploitively against villain 3. He's just loose and passive.
I mean, the small man is getting really good price, and he has a flush
Mm.
draw hand. But I mean, 9 deuce is really a bad hand. Also, in my opinion, you should fold, but maybe you can just call, and this guy will call. He has weak bit 53.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh, he doesn't.
You don't fold. Yeah.
Interesting. And yeah, the other guy should just check.
And I don't know exactly, I don't know how to play this situation. I think we're not going to go into it today. We did some analysis based on limping ranges for how to play this. I'm kind of default here instead of to every suited combo, to every suited combo that can make a straight and every suited combo with an ace, a king, or maybe a queen. I'm going to call here. So even 9-5 suited, but not 9-4, 9-3, 9 deuce. That's sort of my default range there. I don't know if it's right. Okay.
So out of position should check. In position, I mean, he can basically do whatever he wants. He could bet 1, should take down the pot. Or he can check.
Hmm.
I would bet, but
If you made me sit down and play this hand after it had been limped, I would bet here. I bet
Yeah.
one.
so yeah, I mean, in big blind shoes, I don't see too much to do here because I'm not turning even this hand into a bluff. We could try to win the pot, but would sound a little bit silly to me.
Yeah.
And once again, villain can do whatever he wants. He could bet, he could check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it will check through.
At this
Oh,
point,
well, yeah, he
villain
could try
two-
now.
maybe villain 2 should take a shot, maybe.
Yeah. After the player in position shown so much weakness.
Yeah. And what size do you want to bet here?
So if I want to bet, I wouldn't even bet too big. Let's say around pot size, something like 2 big blinds.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. He didn't go for it. Yep. 2 seems fine. And one of the things about hands like this, and I have to, yeah, even this hand. No, maybe not this hand. Is you can bet really small. You can bluff really small because any fold is good for you because your hand is so bad. But when I think it through, because you're actually playing ace, queen, jack, 9, 8. The only hands that beat you are hands with a 10 and hands with a king. You know, I mean, that go check. Because you're not going to get even a 9 to fold if you bet one big blind here, right?
Yes.
But we're not trying to get pairs to fold. We're trying to get nonsense to fold. We're trying to get insta folds to fold with a one big blind bet.
Yeah,
And
something like king 4 maybe.
yeah, right. And so I'm thinking maybe what we do here, this sounds so crazy, is if we have 7 deuce or 6 deuce, we bet. Certainly 6 deuce we bet. And 8 deuce, maybe not, because maybe 8 deuce has some chopping showdown value. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, does he fold 5s here if we bet one big blind?
Uh
I wouldn't.
yeah, I don't think so. Especially this player type.
So
So I guess going a little bit bigger is better because then there's at least a shot that he folds pocket fives. I'm not sure if he do it, but
yeah. So if you have 7 deuce here, you bet 1 big blind. If you have 8 deuce here, you bet less often, but when you bet 2 big blinds. Maybe that's a strategy. I don't know if it's right. But it's at least articulated and thought through. All right, here we go. Next hand, this is me. Fold, 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 fold. It should be a walk. It is. All right, Mike.
Okay. 9-8 has opens from the cutoff. I would make this open here. And Queen 10 in the big blind will defend by calling. That is how it should go. Queen 10 suited, maybe 3-betting occasionally, but probably mostly just calling.
Against the cutoff, Queen 10 suited should be a call, should be an almost pure call against the cutoff. Let me make sure that that's true. Yeah, the raises are down there. That's what I think. Yep. We'll go look at that for a second. We'll just look at it in this chart. Here we go. Cutoff does a, by the way, I think this cutoff is going to limp just for it. But against a regular 2.5, there's your cutoff. Sorry. There's your cutoff. And there's your big blind with the Queen 10 suited. Pure call. Good. Just like remembering that right. Okay. And this 8-9 is a raise in the cutoff, but it's not a pure raise, is it? 8-9. 10-9 is
Yeah.
10-9
Yeah,
is-
I thought it was gonna mix some folds, but it was pure in your chart that you just opened up.
Oh, it's my chart. In this chart, it's pure. Okay. There we go. All right. So but he limps it because that's
Yeah.
what he does.
So now that it goes limp, we've had the conversation about these. I mean, you can make it straight with 2-6, but I'm not playing it. So I would fold it, but he's gonna call.
Yep.
And then the Queen 10 now becomes a squeeze for me,
Damn right.
especially with this player in the small blind. I would 100% squeeze Queen 10 suited right now.
Yep. And what size?
I would go to 6.
5.5 or 6. Yeah.
Yep.
Anything like that. We're going for 6 because I like to play like you.
Now that he does squeeze, oh, that's right. This is hero down there, Scotty.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm in a hand.
If once you squeeze, I think 9-8's just kind of like blah. However, you do have villain 3, and assuming, and of course I don't know how good this 9-8, the guy in cutoff is. We assume he's not very good, so he's probably not thinking, okay, I'm in a pot with a major fish because I'm a fish too.
Mhm.
But I think it's just pretty much break even. Like if you had 2 good players here for some reason, you could probably just fold it now that you're in this spot, but you probably can call it as well. It's probably just break even. So take your choice. He's going to call.
I expect them both to call.
So they do.
And I don't hate the 9-8 call at all. And if he folded, I would be fine with it. I hate the fact that he open limped it, but having open limped it. And the deuce 6, this is terrible. But
Mhm.
it's going to be rewarded with a flop of ace 6-4, maybe. No,
Or trick 9s.
it's going to be rewarded with me losing a lot of money on this hand. I'm
You
gonna
think so? Because I would expect you shouldn't really necessarily be continuing too often with your particular combo. Maybe if you're thinking just exploitatively, they're going to overfold a bunch, but these 2 players, no way. So
no,
if it were me, Scotty, if I was in your position, it should go check. Villain 3 should check. And if he does anything else, you're just going to fold. I would think.
Yep, that's what should happen, but I remember the hand. I'm gonna
Okay.
lose 60, 70 big blinds on this hand.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So it checks. I would check like you did.
Oh.
The 9's on the in position. I would
Yeah.
put out like a B25.
Yep. But
Or
he's
like a
still trying to trap
quarter.
villain 3, I think.
Yeah, it could be. Who knows?
Okay, maybe I'll get
Or
lucky.
he's just thinking I'm just trying to trap, period.
Maybe I'll get lucky and villain 3 will bet out now.
When villain would want to trap a 9 here, which one? Ace 9? Or any 9?
No,
No. Okay.
no, because he also gets to stab. I mean, in GTO land, I think he gets to stab so much with bluffs here because of
Yeah.
the seat he's in. So therefore, he both has to bet his value to protect his bluffs, but also his bluffs protect his value because he's doing it so much that we have to call.
Yeah, we've noticed a lot when you're in multi-way pots. Now, we don't know about limp calling type pots, but single raise pots, multi-way, once it checks around to the button often has a very high frequency betting frequency. And in especially like maybe something like this type of flop too, I would think they would get a lot of bets. And like Scotty said, yeah, we can bet our value, and we have a lot of bluffs that we're backing that up with too.
Maybe,
And you could check behind for sure. You
Yeah.
know, that's also a play you can make that would probably be good in a solver world. But for me, getting value from people that call too often, like villain 3, I
Yeah.
would start building a pot.
yeah. I mean,
Yep.
maybe if you had pocket nines here, you let it catch up, and maybe if you have 9-7, because 9-7 blocks all the pairs for them to have. But yeah, I like a bet here. Anyway,
Yeah, so he checks. Again, villain 3 should check. I don't think he wants to start bluffing his whole range here, which if he did, this would be his whole range. So
I hope he does, because if he doesn't, I'm betting.
yeah, now that you get here, that's probably not too bad, Scotty, because this is a good card for you, good
Yeah.
card for your range.
Yeah.
I think you're probably, I would imagine this is an over bluff, but it's probably going to be fine. It's probably going to be good to make, considering the action.
Mm-hmm.
And then 9-8 now. Now I mean, you've even got some backup, you know, for whatever reason, should you decide that you just want to call here and continue. You're in position. You got a B50 from the original razor. Pretty strong. Should be relatively strong. I'd be torn between calling and raising. We're pretty deep, so you might want to raise small here.
I hope he does. No, he doesn't.
3 flats,
Yep.
which I'm sure is just fine.
Yep, that's just fine.
Queen 10, should we continue? Now that the 7 is here, I don't think now that the 7, and yeah, I would not continue with this card. I mean, I'm probably also biased because I can see the cards, but I don't know that I would have see bet the turn either, but should we continue now that we've gotten here? It's probably fine. You're probably okay. I think the sizing would be small, I think would be best, but so hard to tell what we should or shouldn't do at this point.
So you wouldn't bet here, and you certainly wouldn't bet 30, right?
No, I wouldn't go big.
How about, well, good, then I went 35. Where were you during this hand to tell me this?
Well, I don't know that it's right though, Scotty. Like I'm just trying to think it through. This could be a good play, and I just don't know.
So what I
I
would
don't think
think
it is.
here, what I would think here is if you bet small, let's say like 12,
Mm-hmm.
he should still fold some king X, some queen X, some of his draws. He can have a flush draw. So maybe there's no need to go big, right?
Yep.
Yeah, good point.
This is terrible. He's not folding an ace very often to this size, which is why you can make this size with make this bet size with a 9. He's never folding a 9, raising it. He's never folding a 7, and he's folding a flush draw to almost any size. So I don't need to do this. Besides that, I mean, and he's not going to call a king here because remember, a king doesn't play. So a king is the same. Having a king here is the same as having deuce 3. Everybody who doesn't have an ace, pocket kings, queens, jacks, 10s, a 9 or a 7 is playing the board. So I don't need this size. This is just bad. All right.
Yeah, if you're thinking in terms of ranges too, the limp call range. I mean, this board is just, the 9s, the 7s, there's stuff all around it. So he could have, a lot of a lot of draw. It could be pretty draw heavy. He can also hit these 9s and 7s, whereas you aren't typically going to be anywhere near him.
Nope.
The ace is the only real kind of.
Right. And if I had an ace, this is a dumb size. You know?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is just a dumb size. From a dumb player who pays for an unlimited Zoom account. All right, Larry.
I am the dumb player who plays for an unlimited Zoom account. So villain 3 has an hand and he should open it.
Right. What size is he gonna open it to?
He will open this 3.5 because he loves it. It goes to 3. So hero, if hero was suited, he's good. If you get this pure, he's unsuited, he should just fold.
Yep. And hopefully I've detected the sizing tell.
This is defend. For villain
Queen 5
4,
suited, this is absolutely a defend against the button.
flat,
Yep. That's pure.
flop. Interesting flop. They all are, I guess. So donks. So in theory, villain 3 should bet small. The high freak bet small in this texture. Mono texture. Who knows what he's gonna do? Let's see what he does.
Right. So is this a range? So let's start with, is this a range bet board?
I think it's high freak bet.
Okay.
High freak bet small.
If it's not,
Across our range, I think it is.
if it's not a range bet board, this combo wouldn't be a bad check, and this combo can't be a bad bet. You're ahead so much of the time, and when you're not ahead, who cares?
Yeah, you really, I mean, so I would bet this with this
Yeah.
combo. He does have, a lot of his
Yeah.
flats that are nutted are blocked, obviously, but I would, with this hand, I would bet this big. The villain, how many hands? 46. Villain 4 looks like a tight, good player. But I would bet this high freak. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to. He doesn't have many offsuit combos with that V pip, but I still want to try to cool any offsuit combos he has with it.
Yeah.
All right.
And I would definitely bet no bigger than 2 or even small. I bet really small. If I bet here, I bet really small because I want every heart to continue desperately.
Yeah.
But okay. Melanie.
Okay, sixes can raise. I mean, villain 3 is going to raise. Queen
Oh, and
5.
look at this guy. This guy and this queen 10 posted.
Oh yeah, right, actually.
Right.
30
big blinds and posts one off the blind. So
So
we already have a tag on him.
so villain 3, I don't know either he's going to raise or call. Queen 5 should fold. Ace king can 3-bet, and once ace king 3-bets, the 10s can call.
Right. But this bet is huge.
Hmm.
And with this huge bet, does that affect you in the ace king?
I mean, it's ace king off, it's from the small blind. But given that it's villain 3, I would then at least call.
Yeah. I would still 3-bet him.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a raise of this size yet.
Do you
But-
hate jamming? Because I would like it. It's a pretty big pot, right? We can
It's
just
a
jam it
little,
in.
it's a little deep. 130.
So you're jamming 136 big blinds.
Yeah.
Into when he has, I mean, into this odd sized raise. Does this odd sized raise include aces and kings? I don't know.
Yes,
Yeah.
it should.
Yeah. But he just does a normal 3-bet, which I think is fine. It's actually small, technically, but given this oversizing, it's fine.
Yeah. Tens.
Now,
I mean tens. I think they should still call.
so if this guy was EP, if this guy was early position, like, I don't even mean low jack, I mean earlier than low jack in a 9-handed game type game, then the tens can fold. In this cutoff small blind, normally the tens is a great hand here. But against the oversize and then the oversized decision, I would fold tens.
I mean, the ace king from villain 4 is not oversized. No, it's just like twice the amount.
Right, but it's because he made the choice to raise the oversize. He doesn't have doesn't he fold his ace 5 suiteds here? I mean, if he has bluffs and it's you, if you have a normal small blind range which has all your bluffs in it, don't you just skip all your bluffs on the one time when a guy goes 9.5?
Props. No.
Yeah. So I think I would fold my tens here.
Okay.
But this guy's not going to. This guy's not folding tens. He's
Yeah,
not going to four bet. He's going to call.
47.
Yeah, he's just going to call. We know that.
So villain 3 is probably going to call. He should fold.
Let's see. In set mine land, he's in position. It costs him 12 more. And he's got 100 and he's got plenty of he's got 10x odds against both of them.
Yeah, it's actually good for him that villain 5 called.
Yeah, he could. I mean, he won't fold, but
But it's also okay to just call, yeah.
I think it's a good
Even
call.
if it's not villain 3.
Yeah, I think it's a good, if it were me, I mean, I wouldn't have gone to 9.5, but yeah, I think I call. But he does that.
I don't know. I mean, if I would be villain 4, I would shove.
Okay. If I was villain 4 here, I would strongly consider folding.
So I don't think we can fold, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
Villain 5's range, he's gonna have some traps, but largely he is capped. And most likely will fold to a shove. Because of his capped range.
Mm-hmm.
For that reason, I think that dead money gets you into a place where you are gonna call off, you're gonna shove ace king.
All right. I like that argument. Here's my counter argument to it. This guy is repping aces, kings, ace, king, right? That's what he's repping. I'm not saying that's what he has, it's what he's repping.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he has queens and tens and jacks here, right?
Mm-hmm.
There. When I'm a coin flip against his king, queens, tens, and jacks, villain 5 often had a suited ace here.
That's
Or
valid.
suited, that one of my cards is missing. So with all that together, I'm considering folding. Now I've already got 21 in. So I don't need 50-50. And this guy's got 21 dead in. So I don't need 50-50. But those are the things I'd be thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
I see your point.
And I don't know which is right.
See, obviously, like, blocking aces and kings is important. I mean, I'm also taking into consideration this, that we've played 45 hands with villain 3 with the 80 DK.
Right. But this is the first time we've seen him do anything bigger than a 4x raise.
Okay, yeah, I see your point.
Yeah.
I could see where in some permutations this does become a fold.
Yeah, I'm reading a lot into that 9x raise. And we've also seen him after a limper, at what his raise size is. And it isn't this, and a poster is a little different, but who knows? So those are the
Yeah,
thoughts.
I mean, in real life, I would totally respect that, right? I would fold.
Yeah.
So these guys are probably playing without a HUD. They don't know what the insanity that is villain 6. I just think you stick it in here with ace king. I totally get your point that he's repping a very narrow range of aces,
Yeah.
kings, and queens.
And ace king.
And ace king, where we chop. I just can't get away from the dead money. I think that gets you into mathematically where you are, where you want to, it's a profitable show.
Yep. I respect all that argument. I don't know which of the two is more persuasive, I think, but I think we've identified everything you're balancing. I think yours is.
So,
better.
Melanie, you've got a good point about sunken cost fallacy. However, it's not sunken cost in this because you have the additional 21 bigs that I think is a capped range in villain 5.
Yeah.
I think villain 5 is a capped range that is going to fold 95% of the time when you shove.
Yeah.
And so I think that is what gets you there, not the money. This is not based
Mhm.
on the fact that the money you've already put in. It's based on the fact that you've got
What you
21
could
bigs
get.
in, which I think is
Right.
connected to a capped range.
Right, and basically, with that in mind, for your shove of another 116 big blinds, you've got an overlay of 63 big blinds.
Yeah.
Our 20,
Yeah.
because we know this 21 is, doesn't matter who put it in. There's 21, 21, and 21 in there already. And even the 85 counts as kind of an overlay. Well,
Can
not
you
really.
go back and
Pretty
just look
full.
at his pot odds of villain 4 is being offered after the 85 goes in?
Yeah.
It's being offered 33. So, and obviously that number doesn't really speak to what's going to happen because you're only sizing and shuffling. You know?
Yeah, so I think with all that put together, I think this is probably a good shove. Unless you really isolate him to aces and kings for this size, that you read in everything into this sizing.
And also, there's another argument that it is a exploit fold because you're at this table with this mark and you don't necessarily have to take the numbers. You can wait for better spots against it, especially in position. There's that argument to fold.
That's true. Those are all good. And then the only thing I want to say is even these guys, well, this guy, first of all, has not shown himself to be a bad player at all. This guy who has, I think they both know that Villains 3 is a monster. It's you don't need a HUD to recognize a VPIP of 79. And
Yeah.
remember, he's shown some stuff down, like that 4-9 suited was shown down that I
Yeah.
didn't play ace.
Yeah.
So I think everybody is sitting at this table waiting, playing on this guy. All right, moving on. Mel, this is your hand.
Another hand.
Mhm.
Okay. Villain 2 should fold. Villain 3 should raise. Hero fold. Villain 4 fold. Villain 5 fold. King 9 fold.
Yep. King 9 against the hijack is a pure fold. Yes. King 10 continues against the hijack, I think. Is that true? I don't care. All right. But this guy, not knowing this guy's new, he has no idea what's going on here.
Oh God, poor guy.
Poor guy.
Okay. Ace 9. I suppose he's going to 3-bet.
Right. His 3-bet is pretty light. I expect he's just going to call. He just calls raises. So
one thing to think about here, I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, so it's weird here because Villain 2 has the kind of stack that likes to shove when it experiences a 3-bet. Kind of a weird spot.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's the weird thing of the short stack here. Ace 9 suited still good enough. Yeah. You raise if you get re-raised from one of these guys, you have to fold it. If he jams, maybe you just call off for 30. I don't know. But he does the call.
Okay. 3-5 fold.
Right.
10-4. I mean, he's rather tight, so I expect him to fold.
Yep. And if it was you?
I don't know. For me, that's a little bit of a stretch, really. Especially it doesn't raise and then there's a call.
It's a
So,
huge stretch. It's time to
yeah.
fold. Yeah.
5-9. I mean, he has a VP of 48. Should be a fold.
Mm-hmm. But I'll be surprised if he calls.
I wouldn't be surprised, exactly.
But he should fold, right?
He should fold and King 9 should fold.
Good. That's the important thing here is king nine should fold. He doesn't, but that's the important thing
Okay.
for us to learn. This is an easy fold. We'll just look at it to remind ourselves in this range, which has calls here, we get a raise to, well, we don't have the weirdness of the short stack, but just looking at this, when you do this and you get a call, big blind, look at that. Look at how tight big blind is.
Super tight.
That's the thing. That's the thing we want to learn. I mean, you know, the difference is dramatic with this call here.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And he does it. No, he doesn't. He plays it wrong. Okay, there we go.
Villain 6 should check. Check 10. I mean, he was the pre-flop aggressor, but he didn't hit anything. So I don't know. He should check.
I agree.
Maybe like a continuation bet. I could see that he might do this, but with 26 big blinds, I would be careful.
So let's make this us here, and let's give us 100 big blinds like we normally would have, and let's make our 10 jack. Let's suit our 10 jack so we can raise it. We've raised it here, but our suit doesn't hit. We've got 10 jack of spades here. The things that argue for a check here, not just our hand, are we do a lot of checking in the middle of the sandwich, and in multi-way pots, if you don't have it, somebody else probably does. So the fact that you were the pre-flop raiser becomes much less important in a multi-way pot.
Yeah. Okay.
So with all that,
Ace 9 should. Oh, okay.
he decides to bet because that's what he's
Okay.
here for.
Good. Villain 3 is definitely either calling or raising. And King 9 by that point should probably fold.
Right. So it's you. So now you're the ace 9. Do you want to call or do you want to raise? Not him, you.
Yeah. I mean, if I would know nothing about Villain 2 and his cards, right, I would suspect that he has hit something and maybe an ace with a higher kicker than me. So although I do have a heart, so like I would definitely continue, but I'm not sure if I would raise right now.
Yep. I like a call here. Because you're probably never folding an ace with him only having 21 big blinds behind. And the order of the money is so much better if it goes in bet, call, bet, call, bet, call, than if it goes bet, raise. And, you know, and he stays with you. You're
Yeah.
keeping his range wide. But he decides that he wants to win the minimum amount of money.
Okay. Both fold.
Right. Now, it's very possible that if he didn't do this, the 10 jack would give up with one call. It's possible that he's going to hit a 10 or a jack on the turn and check. And then when we bet the river against a check, he's going to call one bet and we're going to make more money. It's possible he's going to hit a 9, continue, and then on the river get there, all that. But when you add all the possibilities up together, I think keeping him in with his range wide, because you don't do a lot of raising in position for those reasons. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
Good. Yep. All right. Dean, welcome to the game. Dean is muted, and I think Dean does not unmute. So Dean, I'm going to look at the chat, which I haven't had open. So if anybody's been talking, sorry. All right, here we go. Not a crime to bet 33% for the Jack 10 off, says Fish Cakes. You don't want to wait for a spot unless you have bankroll problems. Right. Right. So Fish Cakes was saying, go with the ace king off.
Yeah, and I agree with him. I'm just giving a comment with you.
Yeah. Yep. And I think,
I was playing devil's advocate.
yeah. And I think the ace king is the better choice unless you want to overread into that 9, that it really is aces and kings.
I think I just thought because he can have ace queen as well, pretty much.
Yeah.
and probably
Yes.
too many pairs.
He can have ace queen suited. Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. So I think I think that that one's close, and I think that the jam is the best choice of all of them. All right, Dean. Dean says villain 3 will probably raise with a 80 VPIP. Good. So let's see what happens. I think he is, and I think he's going to raise to 2.
This is the spoonful.
Okay.
This is the punching ball.
So he considers a
Mhm.
king a good hand.
Actually,
All right. I'm gonna. Okay, they muted themselves. Okay, there we go. So there's the raise. And then Dean says, goes to the ace 9, will fold. All right, good. And the ace jack will probably just call with a 17 VP. Well, the ace jack just arrived, so we'll see. Oh, you can ignore, by the way, Dean, you can ignore the stats on the ace jack. They're wrong. So we'll just move those over here. That's counting a guy that's the VPIP of the guy. That includes the VPIP of the guy who was in the seat before. That's a Poker Tracker 4 artifact that the way it combines with ignition because it keeps the same names. All right. So 20 big blinds, he says, just jam the ace jack. Yep. Good. That's how that play should be. And the king 8 should obviously fold. Let's see what he does. He doesn't care. He's here to gamble.
Run it.
Right. And of course, he doesn't just get there. He gets all the way there. Yes, very much a whale. All right, so that's that hand for Dean. After Dean, we're gonna loop back. We got Richie. We'll do Richie and then fish cakes. Where did Dean go?
I know. Sorry, just was catching up on the chat.
No problem.
I can't quite see the board because the
Because that's
GTO
in the way.
wizard is
I'm gonna move it out of the way now that I've got this. There's the board.
Yeah, no worries. How is everyone?
Doing good.
Nice. So what's it? Technically 5-way. Jack 9 fold, so ace 8 open, and then technically everyone should fold. But we guessing what people are actually doing as well.
Yep. So we start with
Okay. Sorry, go on.
what we think should happen, which on this hand is what's going to happen, because the first 2 players are reasonable, and then this guy is going to.
Yeah, so ace 8 should open. But what type of player are they? I guess they're going to limp.
Does a lot of limping. He might limp this
yeah.
one.
Probably going to limp. And then what's the 3-10? The 3-10's only 2-hand history, but it's limped both times, so they might limp as well. And then 4-6. Wow, they're also a bit wild, but they should probably check, but they could, based on their stats, do a potentially bet a raise here or just check it. I don't know.
He checks.
Check. Cool. Oh wow, that's a very nice board for the big blind. That's hilarious. So I guess they check to try and bait, but they just lead with a blind to start building the pot, which I suppose is reasonable. And this person's probably going to call. This person now should increase their bets. They could, depending on how much they want to do, bet pot or slightly bigger if they're not worried about scaring off the other person. But I would say 3 big blinds at a minimum. I'll probably do, 4 to 6 personally in this situation. So they go to half, ace 8. Well, the only thing they've done now is picked up, a gut shot for the thing, but they should probably just let it go. But I'm guessing they're going to call. Don't know how wild they are.
Given that they're 250 big blinds deep with them, they might
Yeah.
easily be thinking when I get my, there's so much implied odds on the top and not at all be thinking about the fact that they're drawing dead.
Yeah, I suppose. So they just check, just do a normal raise, is it? Okay, min raise. Question is, would this person want to try and do another click back to just try and get the pot inflated, right? Because they're pretty strong at this point. But they're both just wild players. It's like trying to, I don't know, just guess. At the least they should call, but I wouldn't be too surprised to see another raise here. be
Yeah.
interesting to see what they actually do.
Yeah, this is the problem with being out of position, is it's hard to know how you can get max value from this hand.
Yeah,
He does the absolute
no,
click
that's
back.
good. Cool, that's fine. Phil 3 seems pretty dead. I bet he raises and then he calls because the other person's showing a lot of interest.
Yeah.
The click back was.
Let's see if he can have it.
Um,
Let's see if he can, if he has, if anything good can happen to him. Nope, no good. He can't have any nice things.
no, fair enough. You could try and click it back to see if not click check to see if the other person raises, but I guess you would just go for some form of value here. I'll probably go small to induce another click back. But
What's
I
small
don't know,
here?
you
If you go
so
small,
small here, I'd say probably 33%. So
Okay.
5 big blinds, but realistically, as you've said multiple times, it's probably best to do something like this. Just go for big and you either get called sometimes or you don't. And in the long run, it probably pays off. So, and then this villain 8 should just fold because they can't expect their high cards to be winning.
Yeah. Now when you think about here, if you're villain 3 and you want to range villain 5, on this river, you make one of two decisions. You say, if he's bluffing, will he continue to bluff?
Yeah.
On this card, does he continue his bluffs? And so you make your decision about the bluffs. And if you think that he does that not all the time, then you go, when you bet, you go, I'm betting against his value. He now
The
has
value,
a value
yeah.
hand. He now has a hand
Yeah,
that legitimately
target the
raised for
values.
a good reason. What are his value hands here? Sixes,
6s, yeah.
the straights with a 5,
Um,
the straights with a 7-8, and overpairs.
Yeah.
Right? Those are his
and it would
values.
just be a 7 now potentially could get it, or you could even
Right, but I
argue
mean,
ace 2 as well.
Here,
Yeah.
here 7 is a semi bluff, right? But his
Yeah.
value is a 7-8. So his value here are 7-8 and 6s and crazy pocket 5s. Actually, pocket 5's not that crazy.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I don't think pocket fives
Yeah,
would be
no.
that crazy here.
So with his value here, you go, what will that value size call? What will a 7-8 or a 6 or now a 7 call? And that's the size you bet because you're betting into his value range.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. It's better to target the value range.
Right.
Um,
Because the bluff's
yeah, I
full.
think a jam is way too big. Like I know there's in some crazy situations, if they had, good value, they would potentially call it off. But I guess it's not unreasonable to go like 5x then if you're for value, if you're thinking about trips calling you or a straight. So yeah, I would probably go 75, I guess, then with all that.
Yeah. But with all that, I certainly don't think this is too big.
No, I don't think that's too big. I don't think it's too big.
Yeah. All right. That was Richie.
I definitely jam there.
With fish cakes. You're gonna jam for
Yeah,
jam
because
for
then
46
they
big
were
blinds and hope he has pocket 5s.
no, because I think a recreational is going to call you with 7x too much, considering 7x is probably almost always fold.
Right.
So you just you're not going to get called often, but you're still going to get called too much.
Yeah.
That's my thought process.
Okay. And the next hand is yours.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I would assume it falls to the small blind. Who has the most reasonable open?
Here we go. So ace
Oh,
5.
ace 5 might limp with his stats.
Yeah. Right. He should open this 75% of the time. Ace 5 offsuit here. So we expect him to limp.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Cool. And then I will let's just see what the players do. But I mean I would fold.
Yeah.
But this guy's gonna call, but yeah.
He's gonna call. And what is your range to complete in the small blind here on the suited side?
I mean I would play raise fold here. with probably down to, it kind of depends on your stats as well. So if I saw your stats in the big blind, probably like 9-6, hands like that, like 10-6, 9-6, 8-6.
Okay.
Almost any jack.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're
quite
gonna,
wide.
you're gonna call or raise. I mean, but you're gonna continue with ace deuce suited up, king deuce suited up, queen,
Any queen,
queen deuce suited up, jacks
pretty
around,
much any jack. Yeah.
jack deuce, 10-6, 9-6, 8-6 or 8-5, 7-4,
7-5 maybe.
7-5. All right.
Yeah, those kinds of hands, like just a similar range to what
Yeah.
small blinds already has,
Okay.
like what Burton has pretty much.
All right, good enough.
That's
So he
just
called.
similar.
I'm of course gonna
Yeah.
squeeze.
I did, yeah. I wouldn't want any calls from the small blind, but yeah. And then yeah, ace-9, yeah, squeeze for sure.
Right. What size is your squeeze size here?
For these against these players specifically, I mean, ace-9 doesn't want it. It's not like it's not gonna be an amazing hand multi-way, but it's, I don't know. You can still probably go quite big. I'd look at like 6 or 7.
Yep.
Yeah.
My normal size would be 5.5 or 6, but I may be, now that I know that they call all of them, I may be making an adjustment that on a hand like this where I would like folds, I might push it up to 7 and try to actually get them. Or I might stay with my 6. I don't know what I do.
Yeah, you
Live,
definitely-
I know that against players who play like this and call big raises, I'm altering this now and making this 10 if I want folds and 6 if I don't. And I don't think they're gonna pick up on it, but that's live.
I definitely want calls because like these are the people at the table you're trying to play hands with.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely want to bring a post flop.
Yeah, and I think my line between where I want and don't want calls is sort of ace jack. I want the call. Ace-9, I don't. But
I think
anyway, I
ace-9,
stick with my,
you definitely want
I
to
stick with my
possibly.
6. Yep.
Oh, they thought shame.
Yeah,
Crazy.
right. Right.
Wow.
What a party. Okay. Next hand is back to me. Because you were the last one there. Okay, so we're me and then Mike. All right. So let me move the little window over so I can see it. There we go. So this should go fold, 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 raise, fold. But there's a chance that he's going to raise this deuce 8 to 2. I think the deuce 8 is bad enough that he's just going to fold. I don't think he's going to play it. Oh, this guy posted. The 10-6 came in with a post. I didn't see that. Okay, against the post, the deuce 8 should fold. But does he do a big raise to get him? Nope. And I'm going to raise him. And I'm going to raise him to 5.5. Good. And it should go fold, fold. Yay. I like that. All right. Up next is Meg.
Did you say Meg or Mike?
Mike.
Mike. I'm gonna go 9s should raise, and they should raise and take it. So he goes 5.
Yeah.
I'm curious what villain 3 does here. He's probably just gonna call now.
I don't think that he's afraid of sizing. I don't think
I don't think that's going to affect him. But of course, 9s don't know this, so this is weird that 9s just open to 5
Yeah.
with broken stack like that.
Yeah.
It should go fold around. Maybe
Yep.
villain 5 says, "Oh, suited."
Yeah, but he shouldn't.
No,
And he doesn't.
he absolutely shouldn't. I mean, we're just hitting flops with these guys.
Yeah.
So if knowing that if that was me in that position, I might be making my open sizes bigger, and 9s, I might do this. So I could theoretically kind of be in this spot almost. I wouldn't have a broken stack, but what should happen here is I mean, you can check this, you can bet small, you could probably bet big on this board with the deuces out there.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want.
Yep,
With the shorter stack though, I would probably lean towards going smaller and checking.
Yeah. And I am confident that if you put everything about this in a solver, it would mix the 9s. So nothing is wrong. Mix across size, and every size you gave it, it would populate some of this into. So he takes the check line. Great.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see what, because I'm not gonna hem and haw over what he should do at this point. I
Not
mean,
what he should do, but
be
I
here with,
expect him to bet. I don't think he came here to not try to take the hand. Oh, I'm completely wrong.
all right, the nine's got what he wants. He lets him catch something.
Yeah,
But now that you've checked and he's checked back, I think we're gonna start building. I mean, he doesn't know how this guy's been playing, so he's an unknown to him.
Yeah.
And he's called a big raise at pre-flop, so expect to have him some decent, strong range-ish. So I would bet. I would probably, again, we're short stacked, so I don't think there's a huge urgency to try to get a ton of money in right now. I'd probably go like B50, B33, B50.
queen is not bad for villain three's range. I mean,
No,
so
yeah,
once you look
exactly.
at him,
So it should be
again,
pretty
for his
good,
calling range, he's got, he had nothing here. He could have something. So yeah, but he goes for the full on.
which is probably fine too. I mean, I don't think it's probably the most profitable, but yeah, it's certainly probably a mix if it were
Yeah.
solvers. Now that the queen eight has gotten here and it's gotten two checks, big raise, queen eight. It's probably borderline, probably kind of thin considering the big raise pre-flop. But you could probably bet here. Would I? Yeah, because people just don't check their checking range all very well. So I would probably throw out a bet here and probably be 50. I wouldn't go big. I definitely wouldn't go big. Now the nines. So when he calls, it's going to be approaching 30 in the pot. So he'll just over a pot size bet here. I'd click it back maybe. I
I
might
like
click this back. He
Yep.
called, which is probably fine. The problem is now we're kind of, oh goodness. The problem with just calling there is that we're out of position and they can check back a lot of times so like we would have to lead this. I think
Yeah.
at a pretty good frequency in order to make that call. So I don't like the call. But now that we get here and we see this queen show up, oof,
We're in check call mode at
yeah,
best.
I
Yeah.
don't think we can lead here, especially with the line we've taken. So I would maybe block. Could you ever block? I don't think you can even block because I mean you're looking for him to spaz. Like sure he's gonna have a queen here and you're gonna go broke with it anyway, but you want him to spew, like put
Yeah.
his bluff all his junk. So I would check and he's gonna lose.
But he decides to make it easy.
Yeah.
Right. And now the other thing the other thing that happens is villain three is now going to be on full happy tilt. We've seen it before. He's going to be back in there. This VPIP's going to get pushed even higher. I predict. All right. Next is Larry.
All right. What are we looking at here? Hero, I think mixes and cut off with this combo. I think Hero will take it.
I open it pure.
Yeah, so Hero opens 2.5. I would.
Yep.
King Jack is I mean, I would three bet King Jack against button, but here I think I flat it. So
Yeah.
King 9 doesn't get involved, Jack 6 doesn't get involved.
King Jack offsuit against the cutoff is 50% raising in the big blind, so he can do whatever he wants. I would not be surprised to see this 5-4 play. Just saying.
All right, so you have a situation where you're three bet or fold. This is obviously an expansion to three bet. I'd like a three bet here against this guy playing
Yeah.
position.
And that's such an expansion of my three bet against, but it's against his two big blind range. So if I'm really savvy,
Yeah, that's a
will
valid
realize
point.
that against his two big blind, I can raise it,
Yeah.
but I don't. I think I may have gone. I think I may be thinking ace 10 and above offsuit.
Yeah. And then so King Jack should defend.
Right. And against the hijack, the King Jack is The king jack is about a quarter, is about, quarter. Yeah, it's about an eighth that it raises 12.5%, so he can do whatever he wants. But against this two size, I guess you can call more. So there's the call. All right.
Okay, Villain 6 never has donks here. 5-4, clearly this is a good flop for what his range is, however, we know the jig is up on villain 3. I don't know how. Villain 6 doesn't know that, but I would bet big here if I had 5-4 suited here, even though I've got showdown, I would do a B75.
And Mike points out, he says, no need to polarize your big blind 3-bet against this villain. Just call the king jack pure. So yes, but is king jack against his 2 raising range a bluff, or is that a value raise? Might be
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one
it could
thing.
almost be value.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, yeah, I think it might be. So that would be the reason to do it more, is because his range is worse. You're not expecting him to call, I mean, to fold, but you're expecting to just be in there in bigger pots with better hands. But you're out of position. So having said all that, let's watch him win with 5-4. So he checks, and then the 5-4. I think that he can bet this flop, and I think he can bet it big.
Yeah, I would be 75 here.
Yeah, just his range, his range wants to bet. This could be a range bet board easily, and it's him. I think that this would be a fine time to bet. But he's
Okay,
playing.
so Villain 6 now is a very interesting spot. So if this happened in game, against what is a very wide range, I would construct a 2-street bluff consisting of a small bet here of B33 and then close to pot on most rivers.
Okay. That's good. And that's because it's a draw, and so you're gonna bet it that way. I think that that's the best play. Now, here's the argument on the other side. This hand is also technically marginally made. It's the nothing.
All right, that's good.
Oh,
That's a good point.
So with those in mind, maybe you'd construct it this way. It's kind of crazy, but you do this. Bet the king 10, check the king jack, maybe. Maybe that's a nice GTO construction if you're trying to be GTO about it.
Mhm.
So there we go. Those are some thoughts. He goes for the check.
Okay, so villain, essentially in theory, once we choose to take, usually when you choose to take a pass up line with marginal showdown, we continue that.
Yep.
So I think we should just check back.
Yep.
He's gonna bet here.
Decides after 2 checks that he has the best hand, but he might not have the best hand on the river. That might be his thought process. Or his
King
thought
Jack now
process.
has a hand that wants to check raise on turn or fold.
Yeah.
Those are his options as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay.
So we'll see what he does.
I expect him to call. Nope, he folds. All right. And villain 3 is ecstatic. And then he picks up a real hand. So, oh, this is after Larry, this is Melanie.
Yep, okay. Sevens can raise, heroes should fold, A2 fold, king 2 fold. If villain 3 raises, then I guess the small blind folds. King 5 fold, but ace 5 suited, I don't know. I would be interested in calling it.
I like it as a 3-bet for 2 reasons. One is if you've got a 3-bet fold range in your small blind and you're not doing any calling, then you're not calling this hand. And ace 5 suited is the solver special, the magical 3-betting with magical 3-betting properties. So
yeah, that's right.
So that's the thing. But it
Broken
may
stack
change.
though. Broken stack. I wonder how those 3-bet bluffs change when we're.
Yes, you're
not
right.
short.
You're right. It's not as good with a broken stack. Yeah, absolutely. Plus, I expect that these 7s are going to raise extra big. I expect him to raise this to 3 or 3.5 instead of 2. Let's see what he does. Yeah. And when he goes 3.5, all of a sudden, this is not as good a bet, not as good as play you're paying more, but also you know something about his range. He's at the top of his range. An ace five suited doesn't do the well against top of his range. I'm gonna get the hell out of the way of his 3.5. And I expect him to call, not raise. And we'll see what goes on from here. There we go.
He calls. Yeah. King five should fold.
King five should fold, right? And who wants to give the speech about the king five here? You have 30 seconds to make the king five speech. Who wants to do it?
We've just seen the chart that we shouldn't do it, and I
Right.
think that was even in my hand. Not even king eight, maybe.
Yep. And now my question to you, Melanie, is this. So if our bottom king to call without the ace five, let's say our bottom VPIP here was king, let's see, we're against the low jack. So let's say it was king 10. King 10 misses calls against the low jack.
Mhm.
What do you want to do when the small blind comes in? What is that? Do you want to call king 10 more often, less often? Do you want to king call king 9? Do you want to, what do you want to, how does your offsuit king 10, king 9, and king jack change when this guy calls and you're getting better pot odds?
That's a good question, because villain 6 only has 40 big blinds and I only have, or villain 2 only has 30
Okay.
blinds.
Yeah.
And usually if I would be deeper, I would be inclined to call more with suited, stronger hands and leave the offsuit stuff.
Mhm.
However, when I'm shorter, like, I don't know, I feel like king, jack, king, queen off and so on, they get a little bit stronger again.
Yep.
So what does that lead me to? Which conclusion? I don't know, with 30 big blinds, I don't know, if it would be king 10 off, I would probably fold, still fold.
Yep.
King
All
queen
right.
off, I don't know, like maybe see the hand.
Yeah. So
See the-
king queen off with these as a short stack, maybe you just jam it. Maybe that's how you should play as a short stack.
Yeah.
But if you made these guys stacks full, the thing is exactly what you're talking about, which is if you call king 10 without the ace 5 here and the ace 5 comes in, you fold king 10. So the more
Yeah.
players in the pot, the tighter you play your big blind, especially the offsuit branch. All right. So this is a huge mistake. And now we go on and see who is rewarded.
Okay, so very good flop for villain 6. If it depends, like I would never, like, I'm not grateful, or I'm not in favor of checking the nuts. I think that at least you should bet small. And then, villain 3 is anyway going to do something crazy. So, or in this particular situation, if you know for 100% that villain 3 is going to bet anyway, then maybe you could check. But I would make this look like a small steal or something like that.
Okay. So I'll add one piece of information to this, which is not knowing anything about villain 2 or villain 3 in a pure GTO world of 3-bet pots. I'm not saying 3-bet pots, of three-way pots like this. The DTO trainer, DTO wizard, had us always checking in the first position range, no matter what board. So we just didn't, so everything was a check, and it was a check range with it. Check raise when it was good. So you can choose that simplification if you want, or, so you know that one, that DTO wizard would check here. You can also do what you said, which is look at it and say, I'll bet small here with the nuts, and let that way. And then in this particular configuration, knowing villain 3, the check raise becomes even better, because for ignoring his 7-7 hand, villain 3 has been stabbing in multi-way pots. We've seen it. So with all that together, I think that makes the check the better choice. And in this particular hand, it doesn't matter what you do. You're gonna be great. So he goes for the check.
King five, check behind.
Mhm.
Okay, no.
Yep, but I don't hate this bet,
Yeah,
because this middle of the sandwich has some bets. So it's check range from the first guy in DTO Wizard. The second guy has some bets. And as bluffs go against this board, and the way it hits his range more than their ranges, not bad.
I would make it smaller though, if I
Yeah.
would have to, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. First of all
Um,
multi-way, DTO Wizard defaults to a third size for all flop bets. So unless you have a good reason to deviate from that solver, that's a good default. So he does this. And ace five should be so happy and not worried about being beaten by 5-6. Just go broke to 5-6.
Yeah, yeah. So sevens, I don't know, either he's going to call or raise.
Good. Mike points out that Prometheus does have some multi-way donks, which DTO Wizard doesn't. So
Mhm.
that's good to know, is that there are other GTO solutions to the multi-way thing where maybe you did bet this. All right. Sevens.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Um,
this is great.
you can really count on this guy. Okay.
Yeah.
In which case, it depends. Like, my first initial reaction would have been to shove.
Mhm.
But maybe there's a way to get even more from him if we just call for now and like get more money in on the later streets.
I agree. Make it the most if we shove, we allow king 5 to play better.
Yeah,
Call, we give him the opportunity to play worse.
yeah. So
And
let's
then-
go with my second thought.
Yep. And then we can just jam, and then we can just jam on the turn if we want to, or the river. What do we care?
Exactly.
But he decides to do it now.
Oh. So then villain 2 is going to fold. Should fold.
You should.
He's calling.
Right.
And the sevens are going to call, probably.
Yep.
And
now it's over. It's over. There's no more action. And the king 5 takes it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Yes. My wife has just pointed out that this is a stupid game. And
Listen to your wife.
yes, exactly. All right. That's entertainment. All right. Up next is Dean. And let's see. I think Dean is typing. So let me get the chat window open. Here it is. All right. Dean will be blind versus blind. Okay. So here we go. So Dean says this is going to be fold, 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 fold. And then the 7-9 can, in my world, it's a pure raise. And if you want to limp it because you have a limping range, that's fine. So that's what he says is going to happen. And I don't think the 6-4 is going to call. I think he's right. So there we go. Nope. 6-4 is going to call. This guy has a massive calling range we've seen. And I don't believe it's just to play against villain 3, because if you're trying to play against villain 3, why would you have 6-4 offsuit? That's just, yeah, he's not altering his game to optimize for villain 3 at all. Having done this, 7-6 offsuit should. Dean, what should they do? Skip my, okay. Right, here we go. So he folds. Right. This is one of our easy completes here. Right. And if it was you, would you squeeze the queen 8 suited here? Dean? Not this guy, you. All right, and what's your squeeze size? Five or six, I like it. And I think villain 3 doesn't squeeze. And villain 3 does the worst of the squeezes. He does the pot sweetener. Having done this, 6-4 should fold. Yep, but he won't, but he should. And 7-9 shouldn't fold, right? 7-9 should happily call here.
Hmm.
There we go. He does. Now we get to the flop. And of course we get this flop. Yep. All right. So Dean, what does 7-9 do here? Check. Good. Then the queen 8 bets. Good. Then we get a call from the 6-4. Yep. And the 7-9 should fold. Yep. That happened. All right. Here's our turn. When you put in your bet, what's the bet? Yeah, keep betting. What's the size though? What Dean says, keep betting. Yes, we agree. What size should queen 8 suited bet here? If it's you, not him, you. Pot plus, overbetting here. Okay. I don't feel like overbetting this with my kicker. I almost feel like check calling this with my kicker. But he goes for the basically pot size bet, and now the 6-4 just has to fold. Right? Yeah, and he does. Okay. And Dean says he would bet pot plus because there are two possible straight draw regions of straight draws. Weird 3-4-4-6 that he shouldn't have, but ace-3 and ace-4 that he could have. And then jack kings and jack nines that he absolutely could have with a limp. I mean, jack king and there's a lot of limping in the ace-4, in the offsuit ace-4, ace-3 mass data analysis, and there's a ton of it in the king-10, king-jack region, jack-9. That's lots of it there. So you could easily have those straight draws, so you could be betting into them. So those are good reasons to make the bet. All right. After Dean, we have Richie, and Richie is skipping his next go. So we are on to fish cakes.
Okay. Everyone folds.
That'd be nice, but you know, it won't happen.
Okay, let's just see what they do, I guess.
Right. Well, 7-9 will probably limp because he limped 4-6. Yep.
Okay. Should fold, should fold, should fold.
Right.
Yeah,
Now
but
it's
it's gonna
you.
call.
For
Yeah.
this deuce 6 suited, are you going to call this or fold it? It's you. now.
Fold. Fold.
You're going to fold. How about
Yeah.
3-6 suited?
Fold. It's
4-6.
probably like my read. I wouldn't do 6-4. I think I'd just do 6-5 against. I don't know. Yeah, it's 6-5, 6-4. Yeah.
I'm going to do 6-3.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the problem is you have a rag, aka you, in the big blind. So.
Then I'm going to lose a half a big blind.
Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, definitely fold now.
Yeah.
It would shrink to 6-5 after the second call.
Uh,
So I assume it goes under the call.
Yeah, he's definitely calling, or raising. And I think maybe I'm going to move my 6-3 to 6-4 here. I think that's how I'm going to tighten up.
I think that's too loose.
Yep. Okay. That's fine.
It's like low suited gappers multi-way. It's just not going to perform as well as suit connectors.
Yeah.
There's more room for reverse implied odds.
Yeah. But I think the important thing here is you're moving from 6-4 without the limp, without the second caller, to 6-5 with the caller.
Yeah.
Moving from 6-3 to 6-4. We're both at least moving in the right direction. We're not going, now that there's another thing, I'll move out to 6-2. That's
yeah, that's good.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna check Queen 4.
Yeah, no squeeze. No squeeze.
No, I just have a super linear squeeze range. Okay, you should go check, 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 and then 8 king 8. I probably should just check. It's just always check rounds, pretty much. I think.
Right.
Maybe 9-7 convert, but it's kind of loose. There's so much ace-x in these ranges. Yeah.
But having done it, this is you and the king 8. I don't know how you got
Okay.
here since you would
Yeah,
never
I'll
played
just
this.
assume, yeah,
Here.
just assume. It's already pretty disgusting. Like it's very close already, I think. Yeah, it's probably fold.
A
Queen
pure
eight,
fold,
yeah.
pure fold. Yeah, because two more ranges behind you to play. No diamond, you have really no, the
Yeah.
king is your king dirty? It's not clean. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. 9-7 is probably wants to just check down now. It does have the 7 of diamonds. I don't think there's any reason to turn it into a bluff. So I think just checking is fine. And
Okay.
then king 8, it's, I mean, it's not going to be winning very often. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think. So you could turn it as a bluff now, but like, again, this just shows like the problem of calling on the flop, because like you've called flop and with your like made hand, and it's just already, even without villain betting on the turn, it's already a bluff catcher. That's like, not bluff catcher, like it's already probably just not going to showdown. So yeah, probably still just checking there because there's no real favorable reason to bet. I thought villain 5 checks. My bad.
You
Okay.
bet.
So he bets,
And
and now
I
you just
guess
pure
if
fold.
you think that whenever you get called here, you're always being called by better, this hand is not a terrible bluff candidate.
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
say
don't know if this guy thinks it's bluffing, or he probably thinks it's. I don't think he's thinking either of those things. He's probably just sees he has a 9 and a flush draw, so he's putting money into the pot.
Yeah.
Like flush hits, and again, it feels.
Yeah.
How does that feel like when the deuce of diamonds comes on the river? Like again, it's
Yeah.
gonna feel pretty crap still. I think you just play check. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Good enough. And Mike, by the way, posted, he said he's with fish cakes, fold all the hands you mentioned. And he's talking about that he's folding my 6-4 suited and only playing the 6-5 suited there. I assume that's what Mike was talking about. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Up next, after fish cakes, we are looping back to the top. So we're going back to me on the next one. All right. Here we go. What should happen is fold, 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 raise, fold, 3-bet. And that is what's going to happen. The queen deuce, he's not limping off the queen deuce here. There we go. There's your raise. He considers 10-9 suited on the button a value hand, not a bluff. So he goes to 3. We fold, and the king should not be sizing down here because this guy has shown himself to call large raises. So he should go all the way to the 12, 13, 14 here. He goes to the 12.
I think I'd go even bigger than that, like 15, 16.
Yeah, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, maybe even bigger.
Yeah.
There we go. And of course, he can't have enough nice things. If he has a checking out of position hungry horse strategy, he certainly can do it, and this hand can happily do it. I suppose if you were going to split your kings of which ones you check and which ones you bet, you could do it with that you check with the king of clubs and you bet without the king of clubs. You could do that if you wanted. I think that would be the order. And I want to look at that. So that's the one thing I want to look up on this flop today. We're avoiding doing solvers a lot today. I just want to look up that one thing. And so, Larry, if you would just set that up, just in this situation, whether
what are you checking on the flop?
I want to look at just when king chooses to check out of position on this 3-bet, I believe that we check more with the king of clubs and bet more without it. And I just want to know that one answer there. Let's see what he does.
What was the reason?
The reason is that with the king of clubs, you don't mind when it goes check as much.
Yeah, I think you kind of want to.
And Mike says you bet more and
yeah.
you bet more with it, and that this is the one we do the most. Right, the king of diamonds matters, by the way. We're going to look this up. This is interesting. So this is my prediction is that the more you have the king of diamonds, without the king of diamonds, you can check, you can bet more without the king of diamonds. That's what I believe. And now we're gonna see. All right, going on with the hand, he makes the choice to bet right out, bets big. There's the fold, the hand is over. All right. So who's putting up the solve? Larry, you got it? Or Mike?
I don't think it matters. Like I think it bets more, but in reality, I don't think it matters. Like
Larry
in
may have stepped
practice.
away. All right, so. Oh, no, there's Larry. Nope. Mike, do you have it? If not, I'm gonna put it up myself.
I can, yep.
Okay, put it up.
It was, what was it?
Board is-
Button?
Board is, so the button raises, big blind 3 bets, and the board is 5 of clubs, queen of clubs, 7 of diamonds. All right. Let's
And,
look at the
and just
king.
so we
It
know
just
that
bets
we do
jib.
notice, yeah, we just noticed that these, are mixing. We don't pure call these suited connectors, by the way.
Okay. He does.
We know he does. Queen of clubs, what?
Queen of clubs, 5 of clubs, 7 of diamonds. All right. Let's look at that king. In its mixing. All right. So the hands that check the most have a king of clubs. True? No. Ish.
I
If
don't
you
think
have
it
the king of
matters.
diamonds, if you have the king of diamonds, you bet big, So the one that checks the least is king of spades, king of hearts. The one that
It's
can't.
based on if you have a club or not, right? That's the
Right.
differentiator.
It looks
Right.
like the only real kind of difference is just the frequency of the large sizing.
Yeah, the large sizing frequency. So with the king of clubs, you get to do the smaller bet. We have that. And the king of diamonds, how does that affect it? That's important. The king of diamonds is this hand, and this hand. And
Pretty much no
yeah, the
effect,
king of
right?
diamonds doesn't matter. If you look at it, king of spades, spade, diamond, heart, diamond, and club, and diamond club are really, really similar.
I think it's hard to use this in practice though, unless you really know the reason the solver's like 100% sure why the solver's
Right. Well, that's
doing
what,
this.
that's why this was the one I was looking into. That's why I made the prediction offhand.
Yeah,
And-
you can see the club has more EV than the non-clubs.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Right. And the important takeaway from this for me is that the one that checks the least is the one that misses both suits. And that I think is worth knowing. And it also bets the biggest. So that's the big thing. And the second most, if you have the king of clubs, you can bet small or check, and that's fine. All right, moving on. I did get something out of that mess. All right, up next is, this was my hand. So up next is Mike.
Okay, big blind should get a walk. Well, no, king eight, I would raise king eight in the small blind. But let's see what villain 3 decides he wants to do with his 5-3. All right. Look at that. Man, I would be hard pressed. Yeah, king eight's just not good enough. I would just fold, but I'm just like really looking for opportunities at this point. I don't think king eight would be it.
Yeah, but aren't you looking for opportunities in position?
Well, yes, in position is absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really, really, really important.
Ace 5, if I got here versus this guy. I think I don't know. I guess I would probably raise now.
Dan's right. I like the raise here. I don't expect him to do it, but I like it. And if he does it, I expect him to raise to 3. But you're
Yeah,
gonna
right.
what
Yeah,
size?
I don't know what this guy's gonna do. I'm just trying to think if I would want to. Yeah, I guess I would build the pot now with ace 5 suited.
Right. What size?
I'd go to 5.
Yeah. 5, 6, anything like that.
I'm just trying to think if we should not, I mean, like kind of like that king jack hand, but he raised first, but when he limps, yeah, I think getting building the pot now with ace five suited is good enough.
He has a VPIP of 80 and a preflop raise of 47, and he splits his raising range to his good hands are 3s and 3.5s, and his bad ones are 2s in general. How bad must his remaining limps be?
Because when we raise, we are building a pot to play out of position with a hand that probably can win a lot of times, even if we didn't. That's why I'm just trying to balance that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. But he goes for the check, which doesn't surprise us.
And then once he checks here, and I think I could see checking, like I kind of talked about it. I would just check
Absolutely.
and then see
Against
what happens. 3-5. I
Sure.
mean, yeah. And I would just basically kind of call down at this point.
Also, though, we've seen this guy call raises with anything.
Yeah, do you think we can exploit? I mean, I don't think raising, is good unless we're exploiting. Can we raise ace five and still be? I mean, I'm sure we can. Do we?
We've seen how wide this guy calls the check raises. But I expect him not to. And if he does, I expect him to min do it. So he just calls.
I mean, we get to this point, maybe we just check again, but now, now our value is considerably greater than, when we had before.
Yeah.
In a versus kind of normal folks, I would still check, but do we just now start trying to get money in
What does this
against
do?
this particular player?
Yeah. I have no idea whose range this is better for because both these ranges are insane.
Yeah.
So go on with that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not worried about flushes really at this point.
No.
In fact, I'd probably maybe think about trying to, deny equity from his random single diamond hands that he
That's
will
fair.
call with.
Yep.
But he checks and then he should check.
He does.
Ooh. He's been so passive so far, which is unusual. We were kind of expecting bets from him, at least I was. Do we still take that line and expect him to bet? Do we get more value by checking and letting him bet his junk? He's going to check behind with stuff like this. Maybe he'll even bet it. Yeah, I still think checking is probably going to get more value, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, and then the solver part of it is the solver does a lot. When the solver takes the soft line, the solver tells a single story very often. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't raise pre-flop. We check called the flop. We checked the turn. We're in check mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think on average, we'll get more chips by checking than if we bet.
Yep. And he just makes it really easy for him to play. Does villain 3 call with a 5 here? I don't think he does. He might. Yep, he does.
Might.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fabulous.
So
Because it's also
he actually got the value out of it. Yeah.
that's how he got it. All right. Larry. Larry, 2, 3, 4. No more, Larry. Melanie. Larry, if you come back, you can pick up a hand in the middle.
Yep. So, well, these should be all. Okay, so we have the one big blind voluntary. Folds and check.
Yep. And let's see whether he does what his mood is with a queen 3. His mood is to play.
8-9. I mean, the rest should still. I mean, 8-9. I don't know. They should all fold.
Everybody should fold. Jack 5 should fold, but he'll call, right? I mean, we just know he will.
Yeah.
Should fold. Oh no, good for him. He got that figured out. Yep. And now we get a flop.
Villain 7. he should check, but he should I mean, I don't know, no donks, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so
That's my play. I don't know if it's right. As we said, Prometheus has it, but we don't think Prometheus is all of a sudden gonna start betting bottom pair into two people.
Yeah, I think check is the best one here
Yeah,
as
we
well.
like that. Same.
so let's check. And villain 8 has bottom pair and a crappy kicker, so he should check.
Yep, he did.
And this guy, I don't know, he should check behind, but he will probably not do it.
He does.
He does. Well, this has not been good for villain 7 or villain 8. So again, well, wait. Villain 7 should mostly check, but maybe he bets.
Yeah. If it
Um,
was you, because remember,
if
you
it's
could be in
me.
the situation. You were in the big blind. You had no opportunity to play this any better than he did. The only difference is you don't have 24 big blinds here. You have 100. So it's you with 100 big blinds here. What do you want to do?
I would bet small.
Okay. And you're just considering it. It's just you're betting it. You're betting it as a draw where you don't
I'm
think.
betting it. I'm giving myself the price of a draw. Yeah,
Okay, that's fine. Yep.
yeah, in which
Yes,
case,
that's okay too.
check.
Yeah.
Queen 3 bets. Okay, this is not good for villain 7 or
No.
villain 8. And I would, if I were villain 7 at this point, well, wait, actually. 250 into, yeah. He could call.
Yeah. It's really hard for this one for me because you have some showdown, you technically have a draw, and your draw is to the ignorant end. It's, so this is so cuspy. So I guess it can't be wrong to fold. That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. And it can't be terrible to call. So
Not yet, yeah.
I think it's probably fold is probably better,
Yeah,
but it's got those competing things about it.
yeah.
All right. Next hand, that was Melanie. So we're on to Dean. Okay. Dean says the Jack King should raise. Yep. And take it. Let's see if let's see if he limps a Queen Deuce here. He raises a Queen Deuce. With his shitty raise size. But now we get to the King Jack. So what should the King Jack do against this? King Jack should raise. I agree. And especially against his two big blind size. Because remember, he showed down his Queen 3 there. We get to see things about his range, or it's Queen 6, whatever it was, Queen nothing. His Queen 3. Yeah, there we go. But we expect this King Jack to call, even though he should raise. Yep. And Dean is saying maybe he should also raise bigger, like to 10. But he just calls as we expected. And fold. Yep, good. There's the flop. He's saying he's probably going to c-bet the flop here. And if he does, pretty tough for Jack King. In a GTO world, the Jack King can call here or raise. He blocks the 10. He has the back door and 2 overs. That might be enough I don't think you don't fold a back door and 2 overs to a small bet. So I think he calls. But the guy checks. Okay. You can probably bet a backdoor straight and 2 overs, blocking the 10. But what does Dean say he should do? And then we'll find out what he does do. Dean says bet smaller check, right? And we expect him to check because of how he plays. He does. And of course, the queen comes in because that's kind of day it is. Queen deuce bets. He says bet. And what size do you want to bet here, Dean? Dean says bet half pot-ish. He bets just over half pot. And at this depth, villain 5 should call. I agree. I like the call there. And this is what happened to me yesterday, except instead of having queen deuce, my opponent had queen 10 in this exact situation. So the queen, you're saying queen should check. Now that he has no kicker, but he bets. And the jack king. You don't like, okay, so you think just call here. You don't like the raise. All right, and the flush came in, but I blocked the flush with my king. And so I'm going to consider raising. I'm going to consider raising here and folding to a bigger thing. But full house and flush is out there, so he says just call. This guy goes for the raise. Small raise, and then he's got to fold to a re-raise, and the queen deuce calls. Great. Max value. All right. It is Richie.
I'm here. Let's go
Alright.
for it. Okay, so where are we to then? Fold round to the ace 10, ideally. Everyone should fold really, but I'm guessing it's going to be ace 10 limps, 9-5, queen 10 will maybe limp or squeeze, and then 9-5 what should just check it if it's limps through to them.
Yep. So there's your, oh, look at that.
Wow.
Finds a raise.
Okay. So yeah, jack 2 folds, queen 10, don't have much on, they call. I was going to say queen 10 should probably fold this. Seems if they've been paying attention that ace 10 isn't raising much, which means they're at the top of their range, right?
Yep.
And then yeah, 9-5 is probably going to call here.
Yeah, of course he is.
It might be a bit cold, but
Okay. Where are we now? So the 9-5 goes this, should check, ace 10. Just can't think of what players like this would normally do, but I would check. So, but I think this player could potentially, they're quite a passive player, right? And just seem to check call a lot. Is that right?
Pre-flop.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, this player might bet or might check raise. I don't know. Check call.
Yep. I expect him to bet, but he might go for it. Nope, he goes for the check. And no way should this guy stab, right? Yeah.
No. Yeah, we're such a short stack. No.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if villain 3 takes a stab now. They've got a possible flush draw. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ace 10 has got the possible flush draw and the top pair. So here, again, they seem like a bit more passive. They probably gonna just call, but I wouldn't hate to see small raise here. And then jack 2 really should get out of the way, but the other twos they might call. No, that's fine.
If this were you playing the ace 10 here against this player with everything you know, except for his hand,
Yeah.
what do you want to do to this?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you do check
Oh,
10 here, right? In the sandwich, sometimes you check the flop, right?
yeah.
Good. So
Yeah.
now facing this bet, what do you want to do?
Yeah, because it's this player. Oh, I don't know. I think I would. I'm trying to think of what I'd likely do. I would probably likely call here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see some people, go for a bet here. But it's a it's on the lower end, right? Because you don't have much as it stands. You just have top pair. There's potential someone with a flush already, but you blocked it. There's potential someone with a three of a kind because it's wide ranges. So yeah, but I would probably just call.
Yeah, if it
But
was
you're
me
leaving people open for call.
situation, I would call 100% of the time here. I would never raise in this situation if it were me against this player.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Well, villain 3, I don't know if they seem to be the ones who take a bit of a stab bluff on the river. I haven't noticed that, sorry. But realistically they should just check and give up here, but wouldn't surprise me if they stab, which they do to go for the steal, and then the ace 10 should just call it.
All right. Now,
Could they call it? They could actually go for a higher, actually. They got a raise. Yeah, sorry, me being an idiot. I just noticed it's a full house, isn't it, with the 3 6s? Yeah, they should raise. Yeah, they
right.
should raise. How
And
much
if it's
should they
me-
raise? I don't know. I'll probably go 3x, so I'll go 8 big blinds. 18 big blinds, sorry.
Yeah, I think so too. And if it were me in this situation, my first thought would be go to 18. And then I would think for a second and go, what can, I almost always have the best
And
hand,
this guy call it.
but what can he call me with? I don't care. If he calls me with an ace, I've gotten no value from this. How often does he have so he has to have a pair in his hand
Yeah.
for this to make sense, or a deuce. What is this guy calling with a pair or a deuce? And does he have any pairs? Yes, he does have pairs here. So there are calls he can make. Okay. Yes,
That's true. They might call with a flush as well. They
Might
shouldn't,
call
but they
with a
might call
flush.
with a flush, yeah.
might call with a flush.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I'm gonna raise and I'm going to puke to a jam. All right, so he
Wow.
raises, of course he
Yeah.
gets the fold and he goes on. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Up next is fish cakes.
Okay, a villain 4 can open, and then like typically it would just fold all the way around normally.
Let's
And
see
the
if he
close, I feel like the closest to GTO thing is if King 5 3-bets, but yeah, that's like everything else.
There is some king 5 3-betting there. There's no way he's gonna find that.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't have that king 5 3-bet for 21 big blinds, I don't think.
No, you wouldn't. Yeah, true.
Yeah, go king jack offsuit and jam. Oh, good. So he found it. All right.
Nice. You're surprised off of
Right.
11
Yeah.
24. Yeah, and then it should just fall down, but I imagine it goes like fold call or call, fold call, something like that.
I don't think we're gonna get a call from the queen deuce. I think we very will get a queen call from the king 5, but we're definitely getting a call from the 10-8. There's no question.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
King 5 and then 10-8 and then fold, obviously.
Right.
7-3-4. Probably I would just check as small blind. You can have any donks, and then this is not really a board you want to bet on a lot, but like your hand definitely does, but not that much. I'd probably lean more towards checking, but you can still bet. I think it's fine just to bet small.
I think the more expert play here is to check this, but I'm not going to do it. I don't want to be that good yet. I'm going to bet this, and I'm going to bet it on the simple logic of every card that's coming is bad. I have the most vulnerable top pairs. There is not a single
That
card
said, though, you're gonna get
that I want to see except for another 7.
Yeah, that said, though, you have like very little fold equity against like villain 3 especially, and probably less fold equity than normal against villain 7, which means you kind of almost want to just see if the turn's good before you start betting. Obviously, it's not almost never going to be, but like yeah, it's like you're gonna bet. You're still gonna get called super wide by 10-8 here probably, and it's not like you had any fold equity in the first place. You've just built the pot more,
Right.
You know.
Right. And now,
So yeah, exactly my point. And then 10-8 will call too, probably, right?
If I were the 10-8, I mean, now I would 100% fold this.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying the 10-8's going to call it, right? Yeah. So like that's my point. Like you just have no fold equity.
Yeah,
So 7-8 just feels like it's probably just check, and then 10-8 again, just check. You can consider check raising it potentially if it comes to a good spot, and then 8-7 if you're betting now, it's a bluff. But like against these players, is that good? No, just check. King
I agree
5.
with the check. And this
Should,
is the bad, this is the best bad turn card for you. At least it's a diamond.
yeah. And then King 5, like just shouldn't be in the first place. It's just like if he wants to bluff, but he doesn't really have any good properties for it. Like I don't know, it's literally just a gut shot and that's it.
Yeah, I don't despise this call from King 5 in position. It's a gut shot,
No,
gut shot, backdoor flush, and an overcard. I don't hate it.
It's just against the not super small size bet. It's three-way. He's in position, sure, but like I don't know.
Yep, so check.
Yeah, it's not the worst, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Against the stats of villain 4, I definitely think I'd fold King 5.
Okay.
Yeah, because regs especially tend to be really face up. I mean, it's not like there's another reg in the pot, it's just a reg into recreationals, but regs tend to be really, really face up when there are recs, like at least just one recreational multi-way, which makes it very easy. Like if you were villain 5 or no, villain 7 or 3, either one, like if villain 4 is much more likely to tell you, like, just be very transparent with what they have, really, because they're just trying to play against the recreational. So yeah, I think you just fold flop more if you're villain 7. And then what happened on the turn? Sorry, they go check.
Check on the turn.
Okay, and then 10-8. I mean, you can definitely bluff this. It's not really a nice hand, but I mean, like you probably still get overfolds versus like this line. Here, I think, especially considering villain four's a reg, I would definitely like he's bet small and then just check turn. I would 100% like bet if I was villain 3, probably like 70%. Yeah, nice, dude. I'm agreeing with him. And then I would just fold this 7-8. I'm just not in the mood to bluff catch when there's a guy behind as well. So yeah, nice river bet, I think.
Yep.
That's like probably printing money.
Yeah. Okay. That was fish cakes, so we're back on me. King should raise and take it. And what will happen is if he raises, he's going to open to just 2. He might even limp this for all I know. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the 10-8 in there. Let's see what she does. Oh, he goes to a full 3. Okay, so now everybody should respect that and we should be done with his hand. Nope. Not after he won with a 10-8 on the previous hand. Fold, and the queen 4 should fold. He does. All right. Villain 3 is going to lose some money. King here can absolutely bet, and the combo that bets the most often here should be spade diamond, should bet the most, and spade club should be betting a lot. There we go. He does it. And he bets big. You didn't play the 10-8 to flop top pair and fold. So there's the call. The ace, because of course there's always an ace. If it was me with a king, I would go into check call mode. But he bets. And now with that half pot bet, I don't know what I would do with 10-8 here.
Yes, either way, it's not.
This is hard.
Bluff catching, yeah.
This would be hard for me. I guess I would make the decision based on the player, which I have nothing about except that he doesn't, that he has been very, very passive. So I fold. I fold this against this player.
I agree.
Now, if I was going to do it by suits, if I have a single heart, then I block his, if I have a single heart here, that's bad. So of the hands that I do it with, this is a suit combo that I can do it with the most. And I don't do it against this guy. That's my opinion. Um. And if Mike, if you want to look at just that thing of the suits on the turn, we can, and if you don't, we won't have to. That would be, I'd be interested in that, but we don't need to. He calls, he goes for it. And now the kings should check. No. He's trying to get called by a 10. He's not. And to this size, call the 10 and lose most of the time. You're supposed to lose most of the time. You only need to win one time out of 5. You're one time out of 6, something like that. Yeah. You only need to win one time out of 6 times. Call. There you go.
It's like perfect sizing from villain 5, that hand, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And then he's got to fold to a raise, which is miserable. But we have not seen villain 3 doing raise bluffs on the river and things like that. He just he's just playing their weakness. That's what he's doing. That's what I believe is what we've seen. All right, here we go. Up next is Mike.
All right.
And Mike, did you
So it should go.
bother to throw that in a solver, or are we moving on?
I'm sorry?
Okay, we're moving on. I had a question about the suits of the turn on the last hand, but only if you had already done it. You didn't, so we're moving on.
No, yeah, I was waiting for you to, if you wanted to look at it, I could bring it up.
Nope, we're moving on. You have to have already brought it up.
Okay. So it should go king 4 raise and take it. And we certainly can see some other stuff happen. Okay. And it should just fold around. Let's see, does Hero want to ISO king 4 suited? Probably not.
This guy's calling.
I know you're
Jack
circling him. I mean, yeah, we'll just see what he does. I'm not gonna,
He's calling.
he'll probably
Oh, no,
call.
he raised. He did his raise.
Yeah, then it's fold around all the way around. But
Yep.
we get to see a flop.
Mhm.
So 14 bigs there. I mean, okay, so check. He can see bet. This is great flop for somebody who has raised.
Yep. He doesn't.
He doesn't. He checks
Yeah.
behind with his jack
I
high.
think if you're going to ISO with Jack 7, you should be betting this flop.
Yeah.
You should not be ISOing to 2, but if you ISO to 2, you should be betting this flop. Right, but he
It was
doesn't.
check. Now we get to this point with our offsuit king 8 kicker 3 flush. Just checking, and he might bet. He's like, oh my god, I got a pair.
Yeah.
So who knows? Let's see what he does.
What
I
should you
would
do?
check.
What should you do if it's you and you're short stacked in this situation?
Check.
I agree. Check call. And if he check jams, you call. Well, maybe not if he jams, but you check. Yep.
So he goes a B20, less than B20.
Right.
He goes B18 or something. Is it good enough to call with a jack high
Easy.
straight gut shot, jack high flush? Probably.
Hell yeah.
Probably good enough to call. So I would call.
He didn't. I mean, if this guy's got 20 big blinds behind, it's better. But even 13 seems like enough to me for that one big blind. All right. Larry, are you back? Larry 2, 3, 4. I'm going to hit the button. There we go. And then Larry.
There you
Oh, Larry's
go.
back. Welcome back, Larry.
Thank you. Hero does not get to open. Villain 4 gets to open. Villain 5, the 3 bet. Connect your fold.
But villain 5, remember, villain 5 never 3 bets.
Okay, so villain 5 is gonna flat then.
Right. His 3 bet is one time out of 35, he 3 bet.
Okay, and yeah. So now he's playing heads up. And instead of taking the pot down 3, villain 5 should now check. Villain 5 chooses to donk on this texture when you flop nothing. Oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah, especially for how passive a player he is.
Maybe he's upset with himself for not pre-betting or something. I don't know. So villain 4 is not folding. Villain 4 should call. He should not fast play.
Right.
No, okay, so villain 5 wants to block the value. He's not doing that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. He's not thinking that way. I don't know. We don't know what he's looking. So I'm not gonna postulate as to what he should do.
What we should do is give up.
Yes. He does give up. Villain 4 can make on this texture. So at this point, I'm thinking, what part of his range can call? So the part of his range can call are some weirdly played flush draws, weirdly played straight draws, which are all available. What I largely would do here if I was doing on the button, I would B75. Fold to a check raise, B75. And a lot of rivers I would just check back.
Okay. I would consider making the B75 smaller and still do that. And if I was playing against villain 3, I would check behind and let him bluff the river,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but not against this guy. So he goes for that.
Okay, so we can safely argue that I don't know. I mean, he's got a sliver of showdown. It's less than a sliver.
Yeah.
His choices are to block bet or to check.
So if he wants to bluff this,
Mhm.
is he in a situation where he can get, because there's no reason to get a queen 8, queen 7. There's no queen 7. There's no reason to get a 5-6 to fold here, right?
Yeah.
So what does he get? So he needs to get a better ace to fold. Ace 7, ace 10, ace queen. To get all those to fold, he's got to bet 7 or 8. Yeah. Okay, he checks.
So at this point, it feels as though it's a somewhat scary board, but I think you have to bet for value. I think you're too far up in range.
Yeah.
I think I would be 50, maybe B75. I think I'd tend towards B50 on this texture. It's hard to know that's gonna call you that's worse.
I would be 50.
Yeah,
I would
it's
be
hard to
50,
know what would call
40.
this worse.
Jack. Ace Jack.
Yeah,
You're aiming at ace Jack and king 10.
yeah, with maybe a diamond blocker. Yeah.
Yep. You go 75. He agrees with you. All right, take another hand because you missed one.
Sure. Fold around to the 9s, which would open on the button. You have special head case in who's going to defend incorrectly in the big blind. Okay, so we've
And the
got-
small blind too.
Okay, so this is a very interesting spot. So, yeah, I mean, he should obviously fold, but he's not. 3 ways to the flop. Very, very difficult to play with the middle pair.
Mm-hmm.
So it should check around to the button. Button is in a very interesting spot here. I mean, so let me see. Does villain 5 have 67 hands in this game?
Yes, at
Okay,
least.
so in that case, I know I'm up against very wide ranges. So I know they're VPIP. So I can check back and then bluff catch wide against what is a wide range. Or I can see bet now knowing that a lot of them missed. Essentially what I think I would do here is I would see bet small here. And check back a lot of turns.
I like it. He speed bets medium because he doesn't have a small size. And here we
Gets
have
a call. So
here we have the
now,
guy who just intends to outplay him. He's just
so now
looking
this is
to check up.
important, right? So this guy calls. Okay. And he hits, of course. So villain 3, he really shouldn't have a dunking range. He doesn't, this can't, and he has kicker issues. I would check here if I was villain 3. And now if I was in this hand, I would check back. And I'd be losing some money. He chooses not to do that. He chooses to be 50. Villain 3 doesn't have a hand strong enough to check raise, and he doesn't need to. He should just call. He's gonna check raise. And he's made the game very easy for villain 5. He should fold at this point. And you just thank villain 3.
Yep. All right. After Larry, it is Mel, if Mel is still here. I think we've lost Mel. So it is Dean. Let me open up the chat so I can see Dean talk. Here we go.
Villain 5 will limp.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened. Villain 3 sat out. Absolutely, Mike.
Villain 5 will limp. Villain
Okay.
3 might raise. Hero will fold if he raises.
Let's see what happens. That is the Dean. There's the limp. Plus, remember, we get
wow.
a lot of wide limps from this guy too.
Oh, he only has 15 big blinds now.
Yep. And is this the hand that I choose to squeeze with?
No,
Nope.
if it's
Good.
suited, maybe.
All right. All right. This is going to be a hard hand for me.
Check, check, check. He could. No.
Good. I'm feeling good
Bet
now.
the 3-2. Check,
Hmm.
check, check, check. Yeah, he might bet though with the gutter.
Yeah, he bets.
You gotta fold. The 2 people behind you.
I don't know that I'm folding yet, even multi-way. I don't know that I'm
I know.
folding, guy.
Ooh,
Or he's
you're
raised
getting
every day.
sticky.
Yeah, this may be bad for me, but I mean, I hate that I'm in this position, but I'm not folding yet.
I'm surprised it. Villain 5.
I've seen him play.
Yep. Now you can definitely call anything pretty much.
Let's see how big his bet is.
Yeah, just call everything versus villain 3s from what I've seen so far. I just meant because like villain 5 and villain 7 were behind you. You could get squeezed on by that 15 big blind would suck if you
That would
you
suck.
know.
That would suck. Yep. All right. So there we go. This is our first hand that we have gotten anything off villain 3. First time we have in any sense outplayed him or anything.
You know, you
We've been here the
just
whole
gotta
day.
call everybody everything pretty much.
He's been playing so
he's a-
badly.
And he's been
and we-
bluffing a lot on the river with
Bluffing a
like
lot.
garbage.
Yep. And we haven't been there, to do it. All right. Here we go. Next hand is after Dean. We have Richie.
Hello. Sorry, I'm just trying to turn off the music in the background. Don't know if you could hear it. So fold round to. Wow, we've got a poster, haven't we? So okay, so it should fold round to the button, the big blind, really. But with the 48 at front, 3-8, I don't think that's in his range, in that
Not
player's
3-8,
range.
8-5 is.
Yeah, 9-4 should check with their post. 8-5 is probably going to call because they have cards. I'm guessing here would still fold this. It's obviously not a squeeze. It's not an unreasonable call if that person behind you is also quite passive, which they seem to be. Well, they've got a more normal range is the best way. So yeah, you call and then they probably check on the thing, and then obviously if they squeeze, you fold. But yeah. Check through then.
Yeah, this is not a great call, and the differences are this didn't go limp to me. It went post, therefore post not raise garbage.
Yeah.
Villain 3 not trying to exploit the post rage not garbage. And this guy not having a lot of raises in it, not having done a lot of raising. So
yeah, no, I understand why you did it. Yeah, no, it makes complete sense.
It's probably
you
still
check. Yeah, you check. T6 checks, 8-5. Everyone just probably checks through, but this person might take a stab.
He'll probably take a stab on the turn.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You would still check even though no one's shown interest because obviously it's still a weekend even though you've now got some showdown.
Mhm.
This person, as you said, will probably take a stab with everyone being passive.
did.
I'll take check again. But and then it's your point now. You've seen everyone check. You could maybe go for small value against all these people, but it's again a weekend, understandable to check, and then yeah, you just win with everyone checking through.
Okay.
I would I don't know if you guys agree, but on that situation, I would probably go for really small value, and then if someone obviously raises, then I would probably just fold it.
This is
I
on
don't
the
know.
river.
I don't know if you feel it's better to go for a check call or if it's just better to go for very thin value, and then if someone does raise you, just fold.
So here's my thought. In this particular configuration, if
Yep.
I check and there's a bet here and there's any call, it's easy to fold.
Yep.
If there's a bet here, I have to think about it. If I check and there's a bet here and, and anything happens, I fold. And if nothing happens, I have to think about it. And if I check and it goes check, check, and he bets, I instant call.
My theory with
Because I have that.
my theory with the thin value is obviously they've checked all the way round, and with there being two hearts, I feel like one of them would have still bet based on the player types. This is just going for, I guess, the class is exploitative play than anything because it's just a weird situation.
Yeah.
And then you're going for thin value for someone to call you with a high card, or maybe someone's hit the 4, right? Because no
Right.
one's shown interest in kings, queens, hearts, right? You've also got a heart blocker. And then if someone does go over you, right, if it could be cheaper than you calling someone doing a mid to large bet. When I go thin value, I'm thinking 1.5 big blinds, 2 max, right? And it could just be cheaper doing a check call where someone might be just slow playing something, is my thought.
Right.
And if they were slow playing something, they're going to raise you.
Yep. I think those are all good thoughts. And I think that because we know the villain, something about villain 3, that our strategy to because villain 3 is in the perfect spot to have seen nobody bet for this at all to take a stab.
Yeah, that's true. That
And
is
we
true,
know,
actually. The
and he's
villain
the guy
plays
we
the
feel
main role.
most comfortable calling. So
Yeah.
that makes it easy. But your argument also makes sense. All right. We are on to fish cakes. This is going to go badly for villain 3 or very, very badly for villain 4. All right, let me see if fish cakes is going to take this one. I'll give him another 3 seconds, and then it's going to be, goes after fish cakes, goes back up to me. All right, it's me. Fish cakes, feel free to jump in and take it anytime. Ace should raise. Queen 10 should fold. King Jack should fold. Jack 8 should fold, and I should fold. But what's going to happen is he's going to raise. Queen 10 is going to call. King Jack's going to call, and Jack 8's going to call, and I'm going to fold. Raise, call, call. Oh my.
So this is
Wow.
an important spot to think about because you've got a lot of potential to do stuff here if you're aces.
Yes, the worst play in poker.
Yes.
Okay, there's the raise. Jack 8 suited is still not going to fold. I folded long ago. All right, do it. Get yourself heads up.
So
Don't
now the question is sizing. Now, before you punch the button, let's think
no,
about what sizing we should use here. Pot's at 17
Please,
bigs.
20. 20
Yeah.
at a minimum.
Yeah, I like 20.
Now let's see if it should go bigger. Let's
I like
start
So
with
20, are you going with 20 to try and keep 1 in? Is that the plan with the 20? Or is
I want to
what's
get,
the
yeah,
exact plan?
I
Yeah.
I do not want to do anything that, I don't want to incentivize 3 players. I don't care what their hands are. I want to be against 1 player. And if I take down the pot, it's bloated because of this, and that's okay.
Especially out of
That's-
position.
Right. So technically, this is a raise and a 4-bet. And a 4-bet is normally 2 out of position would be 2.7. Right? 2.5, 2.7, and in position about 2.3, something like that. So technically, this would be a raise to 10. to 13, but 13 keeps everybody in. With the extra money in the pot, if I just look at what a pot size raise is going to be 15, 20, 23, 24. So 24 is a pot size raise. And I am out of position to everyone but him. So that argues for 29. But I have aces. So I'm going to compromise and say 21 and a half, 22. 100.
That's one way.
That's
to
one
not
way.
Play as
Yeah, and then because this guy's 15, he goes, what the hell?
he's like, okie dokie.
Right. And of course that happens.
Oh my gosh, you hate it, don't you? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Why do we in this life? We could all have made more money working at Starbucks. All right, Mike.
Okay. Well, what should happen? Sixes should raise and they should take it. Villain 7 just may limp. Who knows? Let's see what happens before it gets to villain 3.
Nope.
Okay, so he's going to make it 3, maybe 3.5. Does he go 2? Who knows?
He doesn't go 2. He goes 3 or 3.5, we believe. Confidently, I say. And I say 3.5.
We've seen 2 from him already.
No, we have, but his 2s are almost always his bad raises. His bad hand.
Yeah, what does he think 6s are? Does he think 6s are really good or bad?
No, he thinks they're good.
So raise and take it.
Yep. Nope. This guy just lost with aces. He's not folding king, jack 8 to this guy.
Yeah, a little bit more of an expansion than I would make.
Yep, I agree.
So should go check. What should happen? It should go check. And if this were some kind of chart, you'd get to bet this sometimes, but also check it sometimes. This would probably just check almost pure the 6s, I suppose. But they do get to c-bet this flop.
Yep.
I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably going to bet.
So for us, we get to bet from, button versus big blind, we get to bet king high boards a lot. We could bet range on this, which argues for betting small, and the fact that there's locked up equity argues for betting small. So this seems
Yeah,
like
it wouldn't be range because hands like this would be in the checking portion of this range. I don't think this would be a range bet, even with if it was king jack deuce or king jack 5, but because there's the queen 10.
Okay. So that locked up equity doesn't make it.
Right though about maybe it is range.
All right. I'm going to look at this one, and I'm going to look at this one and whether it's range, and I can't look at 2 in a day, but so I'm going to just look at this one, whether it's range. And then we're
I feel like it'll be like a 70-30, maybe 80-20.
And the size was 3, right? Yes. So this was we want to do the 3 chart. So button raise to 3, big blind defends his jack 8. Yeah, there it is, right there in range. Don't worry, we'll pretend it's suited. All right, moving on. Oh, sorry, that's button. We want big blind. There we go. Jack 8 suited. Yeah, he's in there. Call. Oh, I got to go to the 2.5 size. We don't have it for 3s. Change to the post flop included.
Change your rake structure.
King 9 jack. Can I?
Yeah.
All right. My rake should be changed to NL 100. We stacks 100.
NL 50.
Size 2.5. Stop it. I thought I was going to do this so fast. We're at NL 100, but we don't have NL 100, so we'll do NL 5. We'll do NL 50. And the board is King 9 jack. King of spades, 9 of spades, jack of clubs, jack of hearts. Go. Check range. Button, come on. Range bet, range bet. No.
No, more like 50,
Not
65,
even close.
45, 55. It checks more than I thought too.
And then Mike, if you would just take a look at it, the same thing with Jack 9-5, with but let's move on with this.
So like we said, sixes should check, but he's probably gonna bet. Okay, he
Alright.
checks. Good for him. If we got here with this Jack 8 somehow, maybe we have Jack 8 suited of diamonds or
Yeah, we got Jack suited.
clubs or something. I would still check.
Yep, I would too.
And then once it checks to us with the sixes, I would check.
Yep, but I expect he's gonna bet now.
Okay, and then I would call this villain. I would probably call
This
anybody.
guy, easy call against this guy.
Yeah, probably versus most anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we check, and then the sixes. Would they ever want to turn into a bluff? No, they're not that far down, so they should just check behind.
Yep, and he does. All right, there we go. And just for fun, since we got this far. How do we confirm? Is it going back to this?
Hit X.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's got itself in some weird mode, so I don't care. All right.
What do you want? Is there anything you want to look at? I can run it if
Oh,
you
we
want.
just wanted to quickly look, very quickly, we just wanted to look at if we ranged bet this flop. If we king jack 5 with 2 spades, king 5 of spades.
I think being rainbow or sort is important. I'll
Right.
I'll set it up.
Take a look at both those and just tell us the answer.
Sure.
All right, thank you. Up next is Larry, who we're gonna skip for this one, and then we'll come back to Larry. After Larry is Dean. Oh, Skate's here. Skate, you're up.
Okay. Hello everyone. I tried to make it earlier, but
That's okay.
I'm here. So okay, this is my hand. Okay.
Yep.
Under the gun, low jack, 6-handed. We could open the ace-4.
Damn right.
A 5-6. Too low of a suited connector to 3-bet. So fold the 5-6, yeah.
Mhm.
Queen jack, fold. Yeah, I don't think we have any. We have any 3-bet bluffs with the queen or the jack taker? I don't know. But fold, I would say fold.
Mhm.
7-8 offsuit, fold. Fold and big blind. Versus early, I think this may be a fold. Maybe need a better picker. Yep.
Absolutely. Just so you know, this 5-6 has a sliver of 3-betting. I'll just show it to you. So you guys
Okay.
get used to seeing that range, but it's not much. It's mostly folding. But here is, let's go back to our basic, and the size he raised. Well, it depends on the size he raises. Oh, he limps, so that changed everything. Let's look at it. Let's look at it in just the one that I study. Cash, classic, 9 max, GTO, boom. There we go. Low jack raises and the hijack. See that 5-6 down there?
Nice.
And this 5-6 and this 6-7 are going to, in every one of the combinations, of cutoff, hijack, low, against the previous ones, stay about this. There's about 12.5%-ish here and about 25%-ish here. And then the 8-7 and the 5-4 kind of move around. And so the way I've chosen to memorize it is it's just 6-7 and 5-6 the whole way. There's an exception way up at the top you don't need to know about now. So that's why I know this one, is I've started memorizing these ranges. So that's there, but you don't have to take it. And the other thing I was going to say is if this guy raised like he should, this queen jack is not folding. He should, but he's not. He's going to call. That's what he plays. Having limped though, now what do you want to do with your 5-6? Facing a limp.
Facing a limp, if the button and the big blind is not known to squeeze, I will maybe limp behind.
Yeah, you can limp behind. If this is not a raising party, you can limp behind. Plus, when queen jack limp raises, he's been raising to 2 and 3 sometimes. You can call that raise. Yeah, but he
Mhm.
chooses not. Now it's you with the queen jack here. What do you want to do?
You know, I think I want to fold. You know, reverse implied odds.
Okay.
It's not suited.
I want to ISO some people's asses with this queen jack here to 4.5. And do I want to ISO this guy's? Yes, he's got a VPIP of 38. I want to ISO him. Let's see what this guy does. I bet this guy just limps with him. Oh, does a full on ISO. Good for
Nice.
him. And
Okay, I think the ace four can just well, eh, if he knows what's going on, I mean, he should call. Well, I mean, I think they're getting the right implied odds to call either way, right? I mean, the raise side. Well, okay, yeah, it is four more bigs, pretty much.
Yeah. But here's the real problem with it, which is we're going to be playing ace four suited out of position, and the pot and our stack size doesn't give us anywhere near 15-1 or 20-1 on
Yeah.
this. Or does it? Wait a minute. 3.5. Yeah, 3.5. Yeah, we're not even getting 15-1 on our 3.5.
It's really it's too early for me to do
It's
math.
close. If you call, yeah, it maybe you call here. Sure, whatever. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't play the hand this way, right? But
yeah, exactly. So there you go. This is probably off, but not egregiously off, and folding is probably fine, but not egregiously fine. It's just a bad situation. All right. So that
yeah,
happened. Now let's make it hard.
I need to find more of the offsuit combos for the ISOs. Anyways, okay, they called.
So let me give you a simplified thing, Skate there.
Yeah.
Which is take your position, go back 2, and ask yourself the question, do you open this hand in that position? If you do, then you can consider ISOing with it. If you don't, then you don't. That's the first level of it. Okay.
Okay.
The most conservative one is go back 2 and take the top half. So cut off everything that is partial. And in the low jack, queen jack offsuit is a play in the low jack. We play queen jack offsuit about 75% of the time.
Mhm.
So if you want to be conservative, I'm just showing you that real quick. So here's just our straight up low jack range, right? There's our queen jack offsuit, playing 66% of the time. I suck. So if you want to be a little aggressive, you can play the queen jack. You can ISO with the queen jack and the king 7, and maybe don't do these, the things that are down here. If you want to be a little more conservative, then don't ISO with any of the partials. So cut out all the partials and ISO with all the fulls.
Yep.
And if the guy is limping a range like villain, if the guy is a 60, 70% limper, then screw all that and just use your current range. ISO with your opening range. And queen jack in the cutoff is totally a raise, right? I mean, queen jack cutoff is 100% pure.
Yep.
So
do it all
be aggressive. You would ISO this. If you want to be medium, you would not ISO it. If you want to be conservative, you would not ISO it. So there's your answer.
Thank you. I think that's a good point. Good good reminder.
Right. And then you look at this guy and you go with a VPIP of 38 and a pre-flop raise of 0. 16 hands is not a lot, but still, VPIP of 38, pre-flop of 0, that's enough for me to choose to ISO aggressive. So I would have ISO'd this in this situation. Also, smaller stack moves my ISOs from my suited side to my offsuit side. And so king jack, sure. King jack, easy, no question. Queen jack, yeah, probably. Queen 10, probably not. Something like that ish. Okay, he checks.
Okay, well, we have this board doesn't really hit our range, but we do have equity, right, with open-ended. So
right.
we can bet. We definitely can bet.
I like it. What size?
Let us go standard third. We don't have to go too big, you know, we're versus the short stack, so let's go like I don't know, let's go to anywhere from 2 to 3.
Yeah, sure. And this this hand, I'm sorry, this board hits a little bit of of what we've seen in our mass data analysis ISO range, because we see a lot of king 10, queen 10, queen 9s in that ISO range. I mean, in that limping range. So he can hit this. So with our hand, he decides to go big. And in this case, I guess if he gets raises, he's gonna have to go with it.
Yeah, you know, I don't think we have to go so big. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, they could have limped. They could easily have maybe. I mean, well, I guess I mean, 3 combos of 4s maybe, but yeah.
I don't think, sorry, but having done it, what do you want to do with your ace 4 here?
Ace 4. I don't know. I'll be like, I mean, if I'm, you know, I'm thinking player in that spot, I'll be like, okay, I limped, he raised. Why is he going so large with his supposed overpair? And then I'll be saying, I'll be thinking, you know, does he have a hand? He's trying to get me off a hand. I mean, this should be a standard 33 bet.
Yep.
You know, why is he going so big? So it may lead me to believe that he can be a little bit more weaker than usual.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm obviously a little bit influenced about the hand. But yeah, either way, when I see a big bet, yeah, it's tough to call, but I would consider it.
Okay. I'm gonna fold it. Don't know if it's right. I'm folding here to the
Yeah.
bet. And just to answer your question, what hands would he want to do this with? So if he's got ace 10 or king 10 or ace 9 or queen 9 suited or something like that, he might want to bet big because he's got the best hand right now, but he's vulnerable to a lot of cards. So he
Okay.
might, so that those are included in his in the range that makes sense of his value that he might choose to do this with. We don't know
agree.
how to play, but having seen all the face-up hands we're playing, that seems to be there. But he decides to go with your way and say, why is he betting so big? That doesn't make sense. And he calls.
Main true. If I was that's another good point. If I was I swing like any hand you mentioned, ace 10, king 10 suited, yeah, I might want to bet a little bit bigger on the flop to protect.
Protect against a lot of straight draws out. There's a lot of straight draws that are out there. There's a lot of there's all the cards that don't give me another pair that are bad. But
Yep.
He did your sense and he got kind of rewarded for it.
Also, we picked up a good card. You know, the top pair pairing is of course less likely for them having it. So I think this is a really good card for if we were villain 7.
But is it a good card for us to bet out on, or is it just a good card to show up? Do you want to turn this into a donk now?
No, because the other villain bet so big on the flop, so we wanna see what's going on.
I agree. I think the cards that are green light for us to donk on are a 9 and a 4. And a 10 is a huge stop sign for us because he would, could reasonably check back 9s and 4s and bet a lot of 10s. So this is totally within his world.
Yes.
And he's decided to convince you that he has it.
Whoa. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I mean, but like, no, wait. Why would they go all in? With the board
all in
pair?
is just 33. He's basically he's making it look bigger than it is. It's 150% pot. It's a 133% pot bet.
This is it's one of those coin flip spots depending on the player type. I mean, to be honest, I mean, in my case, I would be thinking, these, you know, what are they going all in with? I mean, why are they, betting this much for supposed value? You know, I don't know. I would think about a myriad of things here and then decide whether to call or fold.
Yep,
Uh,
I would fold here.
Yeah, I mean, the sizing is suspect. I mean, I would say to myself, why, he's claiming he has a boat or trip tens. Why would he not want to get value from me and use a smaller size? And I've said that to myself over and over again, but in reality, what's happening a lot here is someone who's paranoid about the flush draw or a straight draw and wants to take the pot down now. So I think you can overfold in the situation.
Yep, I would fold the ace four suited here.
Yeah.
And by the way, note that this is a thing from villain 3. We have not seen much of this. This is
Yeah.
the big
Good
bets
point.
he hasn't done. And it's gonna work. Oh, no, it doesn't work. And then he's gonna get there. That's what's gonna happen. He's gonna be happy. He's gotta be happy. Yep, he gets there.
Boom.
Yeah. Because I know that he's got it. I know that he's happy. I know he remains happy. There we go.
So I've got that solved.
Yeah.
You wanna look at it?
Yeah, let's look at it quick.
So here's the solve. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
So this is our betting pattern here. We are
Right.
checking a lot. So this is not really
Nope.
that much a slam dunk. I'm curious what happens though if this becomes a rainbow texture.
Yeah, you're just not gonna get range bets from the button, range C bets. It's pretty rare. It takes like
Oh.
paired boards and it's
Right. Okay. That's great. Thank you.
No worries.
All right.
Do I have a hand?
You
Do I
have
have
a
a
hand.
hand in this travesty?
You have a hand now. Let me give you your hand. Let me get back to Zoom and show you your hand. So you don't.
Oh, I have to stop sharing. Don't know what help.
No, you don't. I just take it. There we go.
Larry will check raise.
I was going to make you play blind.
Dean knows me all too
Oh,
well. Why we never
no.
play cash with Dean?
We have an opening and villain 3 has a hand. Oh, this is so terrible. We've waited so long.
Yeah, you do have it open so that you can take if you choose.
Oh, sucks.
So let's see. I think Hero's probably going to take this. He wants to play with villain 3.
I'm going to take this anyway. It's ace 5 in the cutoff. I'm going to take it.
Yeah. So we open. 8-9. So let's pull back here. So I don't think this is a fold for 8-9.
No, this is a good call.
You can mix,
Yeah.
especially if this rate structure. But I actually think I would flat this if I was villain 4, but
Mhm.
just evidently the
I
Deco
would.
20 does not dig to the connectors. So
Yeah,
So-
it's a good call. And I think given how tight I've been, that it's a pretty good, not that he doesn't need to 3-bet it, and knowing
Yeah.
that villain 3 is going to come in and put more money in with any 2 cards.
yeah.
I think he can, yeah, it's a good flat. I think that some of my raises in the cutoff that, maybe I don't take because villain 3 is because they need fold equity, but ace 5
Mhm.
doesn't need fold equity. It's the best hand against him most of the time. And he calls, he's going to call me with 7-3 offsuit. So
Yeah. And then, so the size is wrong. The size should be around 13.
Yep.
So you need to fold.
yeah, I do. So that's all I lose, but just all, you of all people, but yeah, I fold. He's not doing a lot of 3-betting pre-flop.
No, it's first time we see it.
Okay.
I guess it doesn't seem.
All right. Next hand is after Larry comes Dean. So let's look at the
Queen 10 will. Queen 10 will, villain 3 will raise. You should call. Oh, especially to that size. You could almost 3-bet too, because it's a
Yeah.
like mid hand.
Yep. All right. So ace 4 against the small blind raise is 3-bets a lot, actually. No, it doesn't. Ace four, ace deuce does it pure, ace three does about half, and ace four is about a quarter. And to the smaller size, just do that,
Of course, he gets there,
of course. Yep,
continues, and then you fold.
I called
Oh,
once.
oh,
I called once with an
that
ace.
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, dude, I mean, he could be betting with like everything, so.
Yeah, I should have had a heart to do this. That was just,
Yeah, no, even a 4 of hearts would be good.
yeah, that was just stubborn.
Now you're gone.
Yeah, now I'm gone. That was just, I just felt that I had too big.
No,
blinds.
yeah, it makes sense though. I mean, he could have like everything. Jack,
Yep.
queen, I mean, Jack
Yep.
2, whatever.
But how do I get to
3
the
has
river?
everything. Yeah, that's true.
Given his
Well, you're
play,
in position.
check on the flop, he's betting the river, so.
At least he'll continue on like aces.
Yeah. Yep, let's see. Okay, so up next is Richie.
Let's have a look. So ace queen should open, 4-2 falls, ace eight.
Doesn't.
I would say, oh, it doesn't. Oh yeah, of course it's the same one. Yeah, and that's still pretty wide for them, but yeah, 84%. Yourself, I would fold 8 here. Cool, you do. 6-7 should be a fold, but I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if some people called it.
Right.
Yeah, so off to the flop it goes. Ace queen checking as out of position against this player as well. You don't really care if they take a stab on this. 4-2. It's not really something you want to get to the river with here. There's a good chance this is stronger for your range than their range, so I wouldn't hate a stab here. A lot harder to bluff, what is it, turn and river than it is to say do a flop and turn bluff. So yeah, but I'm guessing they check here, do they?
Checks.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here now, the card doesn't improve your hand, but obviously you've got 2 overcards. I think it's still reasonable to check against this person here, and depending on bet size, still call down, thinking you've got your overcards are potentially still good enough. This player now has obviously picked up some equity with their, well, gut shots slash, well, double gut shot. I don't know really what you call it. It's not an open-ended, but it's equivalent to an open-ended, right? So this player is probably going to take a stab for it.
It's
They need
open-ended.
to, really.
Yeah, it's open-ended with its upper end polluted.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, this person probably takes a stab for it, right? Because at the very least, if they don't get there, they're potentially going to bluff people off it.
Yep.
Ace, as I said, for a reasonable size, they can call this because this person just stabbed a lot, and there's a reasonable chance there. Ace queen is suitable here, but I probably wouldn't call 2, depending what the card is on the river. But it's also a reasonable fold as well, right? So,
right. And
yeah.
this guy here, he doesn't know how this guy plays. This is a new player.
Oh, is it? Okay, this is a new one, is it? Fair enough, yes.
His stats are not accurate anymore.
Yeah, they're for the other one. Okay, so
The
yeah,
other guy
they
had
probably
300
just
big
fold then.
blinds. So I didn't notice when he left, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
no.
he doesn't know.
I think,
and if you don't know,
yeah, I think it's a reasonable fold if you don't
I
know
think it's a
then,
good fold.
right?
It's a good fold,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now
That's fine.
this guy's not going to fold any hand after winning that one. Oh,
No,
good. At least I don't have
Oh,
a hand. Good. All right. This is fish cakes. Fish cakes 2, 3, 4. You're not there. All right. Raise and take it. There we go. And notice his big size is 3.5 for the hands he really likes. All right, there we go.
My microphone wasn't on.
Okay, it's okay. You get the next hand. This one's yours, fish cakes.
Okay. So it should fold, should fold, should fold, should open, should fold.
10-8 on the button.
Oh yeah, 10-8, yeah, 10-8 can open actually, yeah. But
Yeah.
10's alright. Okay, but I assume he's gonna call.
I assume that the 6-7 is not
Let's
folding.
see.
There's his,
Okay, he
there.
raises,
bit.
calling. Okay, and then ace 10 off, I would 3-bet.
Yeah, that'd be good. And this guy
Yeah.
might know to do it. Nope,
It
We're gonna
folds and
start
then
getting
fold
bigger.
6-3.
6-3, even for just one big blind, he should fold. But
Yeah,
I
of
don't think he's
course.
going to. We expect he's gonna call because he's got 30 big blinds and that's how they play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, then 7 should check. He
Ooh.
dunks, very
He wants
weird. And then, I don't know, I mean, you probably call this.
Yep. I think this guy
Yeah.
doesn't know who he's up against because I would fold 6-7 here, you know,
I would call, I
but
think.
this guy's not going to.
I'm
He's
not
gonna
going
wait
to
to see if he slows
either.
down.
Yeah, I think I would call too. I don't know, I mean, yeah, if you know who the 3 is, you should just start give it now.
Yep.
Well, I guess you could do, I don't know, double barrel's not the worst.
All
He's
right.
still gonna have a lot of air on there. I don't know here the most. He's gonna have some folding range, surely.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess that's fine. And then
it'll work.
7-6 should fold, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Finally.
I'd much prefer to play like a check raise
Yeah.
if you were gonna do this. But I mean, it's 6-3. You don't really want to be there in the first place. But yeah.
All right. Somebody just villain 3'd villain 3. All right, skate. Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty.
Give me-
Ace. Button open, take it.
Okay. Button open and take it. Let me.
But villain 3 may call. Yep.
All right.
Okay.
This is going to be, even though I'm not in it, this is going to be our last hand. And then tomorrow, same time, 9:15, and we're going to do some trainer work and some solver work and like that by whichever stuff Larry chooses. And Larry, the thing that Louis been doing, which is actually pretty good, was he did 1 week of ace high disconnected boards, cutoff versus big blind, and you play as the big blind. Then he did king high boards. Then he did queen high boards for a week. So he just went down, which was a really nice thing. So you can think about that, you know, like really drilling into some of the bread and butter spots
Sure,
like that.
that's a
Or
good
if you have
idea.
something else in mind, we'll do that. Whatever you want. That's what tomorrow is. But skate, here we go. Back to skate. So we had the good raise here.
Yep.
We had the bad call here that we expected. And now, given this, what should big blind do?
Big blind should check out of position
Good.
to the pre-flop raiser and ace deuce. This is a little bit connected and low,
Yeah.
so it's not really that good for us, you know.
Oh.
Yeah, the 8 might, you know, if the 9 was a 7 or 8, even worse.
Yep.
We got a backdoor going on pretty much. We have ace high, so we do have showdown value. Let's check our
Yeah.
showdown value.
Yeah, I agree. Check. This board is terrible for us, and our hand doesn't have to bet.
Yep.
Okay. All right, back on
See.
villain 3.
Okay, okay, here we go. Okay, now we should continue the same story, check out of position.
Yep.
And the button can comfortably bet on a card that's good for them.
Yeah. And that's true. Although what we've seen from villain 3 is villain 3 does a lot of betting people's weakness when he doesn't have it. And now he has a little bit of it. So we'll see what he does. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him bet here. given the way he plays. Yep.
Hmm.
And once he
Okay.
makes that bet,
Yeah, once he makes that bet, yeah, button should just fold.
should just fold, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Especially
that
especially not knowing how this guy plays, the button should fold. And even knowing how this guy plays, the button should probably fold. All right, here we go.
Yep.
And that's gonna be our last hand. We don't get to end on a hero hand today. All right, see
Yep.
you guys.
Question for tomorrow, real quick.
Yes. Yes.
So, tell me more about what Louis, so Louis doing bread and butter, SRP, cutoff versus big blind, ace high flops, disconnected.
So he did this, what he's doing is, and it doesn't matter whether it's cutoff or hijack or, I mean, you can choose anything, but he's keeping the positions the same. And he's doing currently, it should definitely be cutoff or button. It should be the heart of poker. Cutoff, button, small blind, big blind. That's where poker is played. So you do cutoff button 1 week, ace high, rainbow. Rainbow, they're allowed to be paired. Ace high rainbow, then the next week, king high rainbow. The next week, queen high rainbow, jack high rainbow, 10 high rainbow. Then we'll do ace high suited, king high suited, but we keep the same kind of board the whole time and really become somewhat expert in that board and really get some heuristics on it.
Okay, you can do that. That sounds fun. I'll set
you?
it up.
Yeah,
I
great.
think I like that.
All right.
All right, talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye.
How do we turn it off? That's how you turn it off.